This is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. On an overcast and humid Sunday afternoon, we wish you happy Memorial Day weekend. The championship game finds the West Virginia Mountaineers and the Oklahoma State Cowboys squaring off. It was not an easy journey for either of these teams to reach this championship. Welcome upstairs to the booth alongside the four-time College World Series participant at Oklahoma, George Frazier. I'm Chad McKee. Both these teams had to survive an if-necessary game to arrive at this championship game. Now, George, the difference is West Virginia played theirs last night, got to cool it all day today before this first pitch here in just a few moments. Oklahoma State's already played one game. So does West Virginia have an advantage in that they're rested, or does Oklahoma State have the advantage in that they won a thriller in extra innings just moments ago over TCU?
Well, I think the big advantage both these teams have is Oklahoma State didn't have to play at midnight last night. And they were smart enough to call the ball game and allow that game to play this morning. They've played doubleheaders all year long, so that basically it's an early morning game and then you got an afternoon game to finish it off. It's a big question mark, and I think it's for both ball clubs. Do they have enough pitching to work their way through this game and be able to make it? I mean, that's the difficult side of this. They do have a fresh arm that they're going to send out. The Cowboys do. They'll send out Brett Stanley, the right-hander. And then you also have Snyder, who has had a phenomenal year for West Virginia. It could end up being a 2-1 game. We haven't seen one of those yet. We have be nice to, but it'd be interesting to see how this game plays out.
Well, Oklahoma State won a thriller in 10 innings just a few moments ago, 7-6 over the TCU Horned Frogs, who were incredibly resilient all week long. This guy was the hitting hero. He comes up with the game-winning hit. That's Alex Garcia, the first baseman. What had happened in that game, TCU had gotten a home run in the top of the 10th inning from Austin Henry. It was his 6th of the year. Looked like they were going to hang on, but Oklahoma State scored a tying run in that inning. Andrew Navigado had a base hit. It scored Noah Seifert, who's actually a pitcher who was pinch running. And then with Navigado at third base, Garcia with that single to left, you just saw the game-winning base hit for the Cowboys, who come into this the number 3 seed in this Big 12 championship. Now, the Mountaineers got to finish their game late last night. It was an if-necessary game against the top seed in this event, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And it was a low-scoring pitcher's duel, shockingly. But the Mountaineers able to win that game. They got incredible pitching performances from Beckert and Ottinger. In fact, it was a one-hit shutout and 3 hits last night as well from the terrific Brandon White. So a one-hit shutout that the Mountaineers were able to pitch, and they win that game 2-0 over Texas Tech to advance here. A look at Division I, that's West Virginia's route to the championship game. They beat Kansas 12-8. Then Alek Manoah, the Big 12 pitcher of the year, went out and tossed 8 innings and struck out 10 Texas Tech batters in a 5-1 win. Texas Tech was able to move their way through, force the if-necessary game last night with a 10-3 win yesterday afternoon. But then it was the Mountaineers winning last night in that 2-0 game we just showed you. Oklahoma State beat TCU in their opener 5-2. They then blanked Baylor 5-0. They had the day off on Friday, came out yesterday, and TCU, they put it on them. Horned Frogs 13 runs in a 13-6 win. So they suspended last night's game before it even started between Oklahoma State and TCU. They had first pitch this morning at 9 a.m. And you just saw the results of that game-winning hit from Alex Garcia that propelled the Cowboys here to this championship. So we've got the 4 seed and the 3 seed, West Virginia and Oklahoma State, just about set for first pitch here in about 7 minutes at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. We'll get you the starting lineups. Check in down on the field with Jessica Cootie in just a moment. It's the championship game in the Big 12. Well, it's muggy and breezy here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. Don't know what that means for these two guys. They are the starting pitchers. You talked about Nick Snyder just a moment ago, George. It's such a rarity to have a very good arm available this late in a tournament such as this. But Snyder pitched 4 2/3 innings in West Virginia's win over Kansas in their opener. They won that game 12-8. He gave up 7 earned runs and walked 5 in that game. He'll have to be better than that here today, but he's pretty rested. And all things considered, that's a good arm for Randy Mazey to have going out there.
Well, let's think about this for just a second with Snyder. There's 6,279 collegiate pitchers at the Division I level.
Is that an accurate number?
Yeah, that's accurate. Pretty close. I might be 10 either way.
Okay.
But you think about what he was. Number 4 in the NCAA in hits allowed per 9 innings. Number 6 in strikeouts with 13 per 9 innings. Number 21 with earned run average at 1.95. And number 33 with wins at 8. Think of the number of pitchers that towed the rubber Division I this year, and you have this young man that you're sending out on the mound in a championship game. And for, Randy Mazey, I don't think it could have fallen any better for him and his Mountaineers.
It really could not. And I talked with Randy Mazey a little bit earlier about Nick Snyder, and he said it's just been him figuring things out. The stuff has always been there. Last year couldn't get him to consistently throw strikes, but he's gotten out of the way this year, has Nick Snyder, for the Big 12 Coach of the Year. Randy Mazey, 34 regular season wins, headed back to the NCAA tournament for the second time in 3 years, and a chance to win a Big 12 championship. That would be huge for his program.
Well, it would be huge for their program, and I think they've already bought their way in to host a regional next week. If not, something's wrong with the selection committee. This club's a very good club, a dynamic club. They play a lot like their coach. They like kind of a quiet, gritty, tough guy that's going to come out and play very low-key when you talk to Randy Mazey, and his club just goes about their business daily.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys won the Big 12 tournament in 2017, 2 years ago, behind Garrett McCain, an All-American. This is their 4th appearance in the Big 12 finals since 2014. And their head coach, Josh Holliday, meeting up with Randy Mazey around home plate. Before we get the first pitch and show you the lineups, let's check in with the 3rd member of our crew down on the field, Jessica Cootie.
Hey, Chad, thanks. Yeah, Oklahoma State's day started with the buses pulling out of the hotel at 6:45 this morning. They got to the stadium here about 7 o'clock and immediately right to warm-ups to get ready for that game against TCU. For West Virginia, well, their wake-up call not coming till well into the first inning of that game between Oklahoma State and TCU, getting to sleep in until about 9:30 today. But OSU, of course, needing that come from behind, a walk-off win in the 10th inning to get to this championship game today. And I asked Trevor Boone about the fight of this Cowboy baseball team, and he said, hey, that is just how we are. The chemistry is unreal. We're a band of brothers. We love playing baseball together, so we just wanted another opportunity to get to play baseball together again here this afternoon, and so be it, for a championship on the line. As for West Virginia, today's all about making history. I spoke to Darius Hill, and he said, we want to do something that has not been done before, and that's in more ways than one. Of course, they want to win their first ever Big 12 championship for baseball here today, but they also want to make a case to host a regional, something that, again, has never been done for the Mountaineers. So he said we feel like we've made a pretty good case. We've put ourselves into a good position, but a win here today could never hurt that case, right? So, and funny thing, guys, I actually talked to both teams, and both teams feeling like they have the advantage here today. West Virginia, because they didn't have to play this morning, and Oklahoma State feels like they have the advantage because they've already been playing with their backs against the wall. So we'll see how that advantage turns out here today, Chad.
The mind games right there. Each team thinking they have an advantage. Well, we'll find out. Lineups and first pitch coming up at the Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. It is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship game from the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in downtown Oklahoma City. The West Virginia Mountaineers and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Mountaineers will be the visitors, Tyler Dones, and then the game-changing speed of Brandon White in the number 2 spot. All Big 12 right fielder Darius Hill, then Inman and McIntosh. Honorable mention all-conference catcher Ivan Gonzalez, Brophy, Lake, and the freshman shortstop Tevin Tucker for West Virginia. Oklahoma State will send Brett Stanley out to the mound, and here is the defense behind the redshirt freshman right-hander. McCusker, Big 12 home runs leader Trevor Boone in center, and Cade Cabanis, who has homered each of the last 2 days. On the infield, Oklahoma State made a little switch about midway through the season. They moved Andrew Navigado to short, Christian Funk to third, and it's worked out. Morrill, the second baseman, and last game's hitting hero Alex Garcia plays first base with Tank Colin Simpson behind the dish. So let's talk about Brett Stanley. Redshirt freshman kid, really good stuff. and was good when he faced West Virginia earlier this year.
Very good. 6 innings, 4 hits, a run, and 1 earned run against that ball club. He had 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. The redshirt freshman from Jinx, Oklahoma, where he starred there both as a shortstop and a pitcher. And last year was redshirted. This year put everything together. A guy that can work up to 93, 94 miles an hour. Very confident in the 88 to 91 miles an hour type range. Rob Walton walking in with Stanley from the bullpen. Rob has been the pitching coach there and has done a wonderful job with Oklahoma State. Thomas Hatch, that group that was guided all the way to the College World Series 3 years ago, and then now here he sits with this group of guys and a chance to host a regional in Stillwater.
And that's the thing about it. These two teams know they're going to host a regional. Saw Josh Holliday in between the TCU game and this one. He said, we're just not going to do anything that risks what we want to do next weekend, hopefully at Ali P. Reynolds Stadium in Stillwater. We step aside for one more break. The opening pitch of the Big 12 Baseball Championship game is coming up next on Fox Sports. The home team, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, taken to the field on an 81-degree overcast day. There's a 90% chance that it will not rain today. Relative humidity's kind of high. Heavy rains began right at the end of last night's game. A lot of rainfall in Oklahoma and the Oklahoma City Metro overnight, but it's beautiful here today, George.
A great day for baseball with the temperature right where it should be, and Josh Holliday once again has led his Cowboys into a championship game of the Big 12 at the Chickasha Bricktown Ballpark. And Josh has done a good job there. It's coming in after Frank Anderson, taking this organization over, recruiting Oklahoma players, and building off of that. Now, with their success, they travel nationwide to accumulate, but a lot of Oklahoma players on this roster who have been very successful for Josh.
They will open their spanking new O'Brate Stadium in Stillwater next year, a $65 million beautiful new place. Randy Mazey and the Mountaineers. You talk about a terrific job. 7th season as head coach at West Virginia. This year's Big 12 Coach of the Year. 2 years ago, their first NCAA tournament berth since 1996. They also made it to this Big 12 title game in 2016, where they lost to TCU. And for Oklahoma State, it is their 4th appearance in the finals since 2014. So we're just about set to go. A lot on the line here, but each of these teams knows that they will play in a regional. For West Virginia, I think they could completely confirm themselves as a regional host if they are not already there. Oklahoma State, it looks like no matter what happens here, they will host a regional, and it would be fitting as they close out a legendary ballpark, Ali P. Reynolds Stadium.
Absolutely, and they've closed it out in grand fashion this year, bringing back a bunch of former players, coaches, people that meant a lot to this organization as they threw out a lot of first pitches over the weekends with their celebrations. They've done it right at Ali P. Reynolds Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. But it will not be an easy lineup to go against for Stanley as he'll take on West Virginia, who features a lot of speed at the top.
Here is the Division I bracketology. 4 Big 12 teams are going to get in. Certainly looks like Tech and these 2 teams will be able to host. Baylor will get in as well. Or you hope that maybe a TCU, an Oklahoma, or a Kansas. Kansas got hot at the end of the season. Perhaps one of them will get a chance. With TCU, heartbreaking injuries all year long, starting to get healthy and play good baseball at the end of the year. Oklahoma State just beat them to perhaps end TCU's season, but love to see them get a chance at the NCAA tournament. So we're set to go. Tyler Dones swings at the first offering from Brett Stanley, and we are underway. Dones honorable mention all Big 12 this year. So far in Bricktown, Dones has had a solid week. As he fouls this one out of play.
Working ahead in the count. That's one of Stanley's main objectives today. Work ahead in the count, keep the ball down, let your defense catch the baseball.
He's 6 out of 16 in this Big 12 championship. And he's down on strikes to start this game. So a confidence-building start for young Brett Stanley.
When you pitched recently against a ball club and you had success, you don't try to change a lot of things. There's a cut fastball that gets the swing and miss.
First pitch to Brandon White, and it's in there for a called strike. White, you could say, other than the very good pitching that the Mountaineers got yesterday, the biggest reason why they beat Texas Tech yesterday, fantastic play in center field. He had 3 hits and a run scored. White 5 out of 11. He's driven in 5 runs in this Big 12 championship. Game changer defensively with his speed and on the base passes.
Really good player. I thought you made a good comparison yesterday. Devon White, that played a number of years with the Angels at the big league level. He glides to baseballs. He's so confident of the routes that he takes after baseballs in center. He has been a highlight reel so far in this tournament.
2-2 to Brandon White. Dad Curtis played in the NFL. It's honorable mention all Big 12 this year. A walk or a base hit with him is almost like a double. He has stolen 26 bases. And he lines this one right at the second baseman, Houston Morrill, for the second out. So 2 up and 2 down for Stanley. Brett Stanley, 6'4", 230 pounds. Redshirted last year, get things all straight at the college level. And has had a solid year for Josh Holliday and the Cowboys. Here's Darius Hill. Fly ball toward left. McCusker, the 6'7" outfielder, watches it fall in front of him. And a 2-out single for the guy who Randy Mazey says if you have a poster boy for West Virginia baseball, this is him, Darius Hill.
Does all the right things, not just on the baseball field, but also in the classroom. The leader among his players and the leader on the campus.
So Darius Hill with his 4th hit here in the Big 12 championship, and that brings Marcus Inman to the plate. 274 hitter is Inman. He's got 6 hits here in the Big 12 championship.
Different types of play so far for West Virginia. I thought they didn't put the speed game in last night till very late.
Swung on, popped up, foul, out of play. Marcus Inman is a good story. 2016 suffered a leg injury. He was batting .351 at the time. And the Mountaineers headed to the NCAA tournament. He didn't get to play in it, but bounced back. Honorable mention all conference this year and last year. And this year, he'll get to play in an NCAA regional. One and one. These teams played their 3-game Big 12 series in Stillwater this year, and the Mountaineers won 2 of those 3 games. They won 3 straight series against top 25 teams. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and at the time Oklahoma. That's how you build a high RPI and get in the conversation to host a regional. In the air to right. Looked like Cavanis got a late look at that ball. It's a high sky, but he'll make the catch. And the inning is over. No score. Oklahoma State with Colin Simpson, who has hit 3 home runs here this week in Bricktown. They'll be up next. Bottom of the first inning coming your way. And the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who have clubbed a Big 12 leading 84 home runs on the season, coming to the plate. Morrill, Funk, Colin Simpson's hit 3 home runs in this championship. Navigado and Trevor Boone, who's the Big 12 home runs leader. McCusker, Garcia, who had the game-winning hit last game, won't be Jensen Elliott, the DH. We'll see who occupies that role when we arrive there. And Kate Cabanis, the right fielder, homered earlier today. Nick Snyder on the mound. Couldn't ask for a better guy to have available. He's 8-1 with a sub-3 ERA, George.
And out of the 10 starts during the midweek, he never lost a game. They didn't lose a ball game with him being on the mound. So very interesting with him out. Short, quick arm action on the backside. Very tall, 6'6". Fastball slider change.
Nick Snyder.
Carlton,
New Jersey.
And what's a lot, we're talking a lot about having him on this championship game. Well, OSU's got Brett Stanley. Had pitched all in the series so far, so he's well rested too.
It's almost like they were saving Stanley, and I know that's difficult to do.
Hey, if we get to this spot, we got to have somebody, so you're going to be that guy.
Houston Morrill leading things off. Down and away to Morrill. Making his 50th start, 267 hitter is Morrill. Freshman out of Live Oak, Florida. Honorable mention all conference this year. He was drafted last summer, 36th round by the Angels. Morrill is 4 out of 17 in this Big 12 championship, and he has a leadoff walk. That's the thing that plagued Nick Snyder in his start against Kansas the other night.
30 walks and 60-plus innings on the season so far, but he does have the ability to strike you out. 19 strikeouts. Or excuse me, 90 strikeouts in 60 innings.
Here is Christian Funk. Senior from Hewitt, Texas, and a transfer from Fresno City Community College. And he made second team all Big 12 this year. Only 1 hit in the Big 12 championship, but he can hit home runs.
Oh, their whole club, very, very dangerous power club. First 5 guys in the lineup. And Cabanis has gotten extremely hot here in this Big 12 championship.
Strike on the outside corner from Nick Snyder. Funk is one of 4 Cowboys to have hit at least 12 home runs. Snyder going to throw over. Morrill, the leading base stealer for Oklahoma State, though they don't run very much, just 41 steals as a club. Morrill has 10 of them. Contrast that with West Virginia. They've stolen nearly 100 bases. Oklahoma State, big home run numbers, big strikeout numbers.
Yeah, I just looked up 84 home runs for Oklahoma State, according to the last stats received here. 84 home runs. We're in a comparison with West Virginia. They got a couple of guys that can go deep. And look at one of them, and with 9. But they have a lot of speed at their top 3 spots and speed in the 9 hole. And they like to flip that lineup.
That one kind of in on Funk, and he fouls it off. 0-2 on Christian Funk. It was really a change that Josh Holliday made this year. Christian Funk was a second baseman, but about the time they played Kansas State in Big 12 play, they moved Funk over to third. And Morrill started playing more second base, and Andrew Navigado became the guy at shortstop. Swing and a miss. Funk out on strikes.
When you anticipate a lot of times a breaking ball away, then you get fastball. It gets by you before you can put a good swing on it. That was more of a defensive hope I foul off to get another pitch.
And so here is Colin Simpson. 15 home runs, 50 runs driven in. And he has hit 3 home runs in this Big 12 championship.
1 home run shy of breaking the head coach's record as a Cowboy catcher with 46.
For his career.
for the career, not this year, for his career.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. Break it. Josh would be the happiest guy in the ballpark if he breaks it.
Colin Simpson, they call him Tank. Second team All Big 12 this year. He's played a little more left field and DH'd as well. Saved some wear and tear on his legs.
Well, they have been able to do that because Bryce Carter, who graduated from Stanford, a local kid, went to Cashel High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, went to Stanford. Graduate transfer, has been able to come in and spell Simpson. Caught a couple of games so far in this Big 12 tournament.
But Simpson doing the catching today. As you said, Bryce Carter would be available.
Jake Taylor, another that could come in and catch in this ball game.
Houston Morrill, the leadoff walk here in the inning. Nick Snyder paying careful attention to him. 1-1 to Colin Simpson.
You've got to really be able to control your mind if you're worried about the running game and continue to pick. You don't want to pull your concentration off Colin Simpson and make a mistake with a pitch because of your concerns at first base.
RPI, depending upon which service you read, it's in the top 8.
So which one matters? It's always which service do you read? Is it D1 baseball? Is it
Warren Nolan? Is it the NCAA? Well, all of them probably matter a little bit.
I should say, which one does the selection committee pay most attention to?
Swing and a miss. Simpson down on strikes, and Snyder has back-to-back strikeouts.
90-mile-an-hour fastball elevated up to be able to get Simpson to bite. That happened back in the 9th inning also. You see the elevation of this pitch, difficult to get to, not particularly where West Virginia wanted it. They wanted this ball down and away, and it ended up and in, but a good result.
So here is Andrew Navigado, the shortstop. He scored the walk-off game-winning run in Oklahoma State's 10-inning victory over TCU earlier today that brought them to the championship. And it was Navigado who tied the game with the base hit in the 10th before Garcia's heroics. Navigado, one of those 4 Cowboys with more than 12 home runs. But he's in a hole 0-2.
2 straight strikeouts after the walk. The most strikeouts came in April in the midweek start. He struck out 16. Had a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th when he gave up a hit.
Throw over to first. How many throws over do you think that is? Wonder if our statistician
2,987. Is that 3 or is that 12? We had a lot of sign language here in the booth.
Some of it we like, some we don't. 0-2 here as Navigado steps out. One and two. Navigado's a transfer from Cuesta Community College. Second team all-conference this year. Playing shortstop, but as we said, he was a third baseman earlier this year. Made 15 starts there. Originally out of Riverside, California. Count will stay 1-2. Nick Snyder, 92 strikeouts on the year. He averages nearly 14 strikeouts per 9 innings. There goes Morrill. Bouncing ball to third for Brophy. And the inning is over. Leadoff walk to Morrill, but he is left stranded. We have no score headed to the second in the Big 12 championship game.
Playing in the Big 12 tournament is just an amazing thing. Just getting here and the environment, the people, the crowd in the stands, just playing in an environment like that it's really fun. You enjoy it. You can see all the kids, all the parents, and just everyone who's involved with baseball cheering you on. And we always have a good crowd here, so it's just amazing to see all the fans come all the way down here and keep supporting us and watching us play.
Well, Ivan Gonzalez talking about how special it is to play here in this Big 12 championship. Oklahoma City has been such a wonderful host over the years. This the AAA home of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. You get the big league feel when you play in this ballpark as Paul McIntosh fouls the first pitch out of play. West Virginia, it's been really special to Randy Mazie and this program to come to Oklahoma City. It was 2013. They had played their series in Stillwater against Oklahoma State and driven down here to start the Big 12 championship when tornadoes struck the Moore area. This one is driven by McIntosh out to right center field, playable for Trevor Boone. But the Mountaineers were sitting in their hotel room, saw the devastation in Moore, and said, we need to activate and do something. And they did. They went out and helped with recovery. And so this has kind of been a special place, a special connection between West Virginia baseball and the state of Oklahoma.
It's been very good. Randy Mazie, what a big thing that he did with his ball club when he did go down there. That just, I think it touched the hearts of a lot of people here in Oklahoma, and that connection among the fans here has continued on.
And here is Ivan Gonzalez. Senior from Round Rock, Texas. Second team all-conference this year. And he hits it foul. The MO for West Virginia catchers, as Randy Mazie likes to say, is make sure that the pitcher has a good day. That's your job.
Well, I think that the catcher has to realize it's as much of his loss as it is the pitcher's loss that day. How you work him through a game, how you keep him focused in a game. I know the college coaches call all the pitches, but it's a matter of how you receive, how you go to the mound, in between innings, the conversations you have.
Gonzalez slashes another one foul out of play. He's 5 out of 14 in the Big 12 championship. Pulled to third. Christian Funk down to a knee. 2 gone. Base is empty for Kevin Brophy.
Yeah, good hard sinker down and in. Catch the top half of the baseball. Able to receive and make the play. By the way, the first base coach for West Virginia, Mark Genther, played at Oklahoma State for a number of years. Was an all-star quarterback at Jinx High School. And went to Oklahoma State, played for the Diamondbacks a brief time, came back as a volunteer assistant for 5, 6, 7 years over at Oklahoma State, now an assistant at West Virginia and Randy Mazie.
There's your common bond between the two programs. Right back to Stanley. And it is 6 up and 6 down for the redshirt freshman right-hander of Oklahoma State. No score. We move to the bottom of the second here in Bricktown. The kids are watching the video board and trying to understand how you do the YMCA. Say that they're a little young to remember 40 years ago when this song came out, George.
Entirely too young to remember this.
And maybe
You're
hoping
too
that
young
mom.
to
No, I
remember.
remember. They may be hoping mom and dad don't show up on the video board here at the ballpark doing the YMCA.
I know how you remember. You remember watching your mom and dad do the YMCA.
Of course. Great atmosphere. And once again, happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all of our service members out there. Hope they're getting to enjoy some of America's pastime this weekend. The Big 12 home runs leader, Trevor Boone, then Carson McCusker and Alex Garcia set to stand in against Nick Snyder. Trevor Boone got off to a slow start this year, but has he exploded? He was hitting a .194 at the end of Oklahoma State's series with Iowa in non-conference play. That was March the 2nd, a .194. And he's taken off, now batting .300 with a Big 12 leading 19 home runs.
A lot of that is the trust in your ability to have success. I think that's the number one thing. And a manager or coach that trusts what you're doing and says, hey, you know what? Yeah, I know you can do this. Okay, you got a rough start. Do you think every time a National League All-Star starts out slow? Nolan Arenado was 2 for 23. You going to bench him? No, you just keep putting them in the lineup and keep letting them play. And very similar in this situation with Boone. Let him swing the bat.
Yeah, that's precisely how Josh Holliday and the staff approached it. Look, you can hit. You're going to hit. Keep plugging you in, and it'll come. And it has.
Well, it hasn't hurt that Matt Holliday, the All-Star, World Series champion, the brother of Josh, the son of Tom, just hangs around the ballpark a lot. You know, why not go down? I mean, he doesn't coach, but he's around, and kids talk to him, ask him questions, different things. A lot of kids ask me questions. You know, you're just trying to relay the right answer to them.
Nick Snyder is mowing them down. 4 straight retired, including 3 strikeouts of Funk, Simpson, and Boone, the big home run hitters.
Yeah, and then your next question I'm going to ask you is this the same guy that walked the leadoff man with 4 straight pitches? Now he's come back and struck out 3 of the last 4.
It's the same jersey number.
Yeah, there you go.
Looks like the same guy.
Didn't shave his beard.
Here's Carson McCusker, the 6'7" left fielder for Oklahoma State. 311 hitter, 5 home runs. Missed 9 games earlier this year, back in April. Returned for Big 12 conference play and has had a really good year. He's out of Sparks, Nevada. Spent time at Folsom Lake Community College and made the honorable mention All Big 12 team this year. 1-1 is swung on and missed. Like to play that old game, locate that junior college when we come up with them. Folsom Lake Community College.
If they're good, they'll find you.
That's right.
You know, that's the old saying behind it. I find it interesting. Randy Mazie calls all the pitches in this ball game. Now, if you watch, and we'll try to see a little bit of this, but he has no books in front of him. His eyes are telling him what swings are doing. What would a be good pitch at this time? Now, on the flip side of that, Rob Walton's got 6 books over there, 15 pages, calculating what he's going to call next. And Mazie just going off what he sees. I don't really need to see anything. I've done a lot of study, videos, got it in my mind. I can tell what my starting pitcher has and has not working right now, and go from there. You know, a lot of guys that I'm around, Skip Johnson, a lot of paperwork, look through the lineup scouting reports, what to go attack. And with Mazie, it's like, we'll just go throw this.
Speaking of go throw this, how about throwing 4 strikeouts and 5 batters for Nick Snyder?
Yeah, now again, you look at all these strikeouts, where are the pitches? They're up, they're elevated in the zone, and they're away. So, you know, you either come in or you go away. You don't want to leave it out over the plate, obviously, with this ball club that can hit the ball over the fence. When you start to make mistakes, that's when they're going to hurt you.
2 gone, bases clear for Alex Garcia. Garcia, 296 hitter, 6 homers as the first baseman. And he's 3 out of 14 in this championship, but the biggest hit by far came about 45 minutes ago. A walk-off game winner for Alex Garcia in the semifinals against TCU. 10th inning. Tie ball game, and Alex Garcia scored Andrew Navigado. 7-6. The Oklahoma State win earlier today. Pull to third and just foul. We have a 6-person umpiring crew. Jeffrey Hendricks is our guy down at third base. You see Jeffrey Hendricks, and Michael Banks is out in left field. There's Mike Morris behind the plate. Doug Williams at first. Chris Koski out there at second base, and Casey Moser is the umpire down the right field line. They bring in extras for the championship game.
Well, they have a couple of alternates in case somebody gets hurt.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nick Snyder strikes out the side. He has 5 strikeouts through 2 innings as the Mountaineers look to win their first ever Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. To the third inning we go in this Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. No score between the Mountaineers and the Cowboys. West Virginia has the lone hit. Chad McKee, George Frazier up here with you in the booth. Jessica Cootie is down in the dugouts. She's got a very special guest.
All right, well, down here in the West Virginia dugout, standing by with the Big 12 pitcher of the year, Alek Manoah. Already got your win here in the tournament this week. But, you know, earlier this week when you were voted the Big 12 pitcher of the year, and you think about this league and year in and year out, how it's one of the best baseball leagues in the country, and so many great arms have come through here. What did winning that award mean to you?
Yeah, it was just a huge blessing, you know, to be able to go out and, you know, win ball games for my team. And, you know, we're in the championship game now, you know, and that award is just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, what a difference a year makes for you. You know, you talk about last season, 5-3 or your record, and then you had a 4.0 ERA, and then this year, going into this year, 8-3, and the 1.91 ERA going into this tournament. What was the biggest difference? How were you able to make such a turnaround going into this season? Yeah,
it was just a maturity development, you know, throwing more strikes, attacking hitters more, and giving my team a chance to win.
And you look at what this team is doing right now. You're playing for things that have not been done before for this program. What was the mission when you think about going back to February when it's snowing in Morgantown? What was the mission that this team set out for?
Yeah, the mission, you know, we've always loved playing with each other. You know, inter squads, practices, weights, whatever it is, we enjoy doing it together. So the mission's always been, you know, just stay together. Stay together every game. It's going to be a long season. We're going to get blown out. We're going to blow people out. And, yeah, just stay together and win as many games as we can, and here we are.
Hey, showing quite the composure here, just like you do on the mound with this interview. I've been told that you're pretty good at, you know, carrying the microphone and being in front of the camera, right? You enjoy this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I love it. I'm a communication major, so I'll be up there soon.
So we should maybe just send you up to the booth after this and let you finish this thing out.
Yeah, let's win this first.
All right, so but that being said, then I'll let you close out this interview and send it back upstairs to the guys.
All right, Chad and the guys, we'll see you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Guys.
I appreciate that, Jessica. First tip, though, you don't want to eat while you're on the air. Although George pulls it off with hot dogs sometimes, Alek, he's gotten a little healthier.
40 years of practice.
What a year he has had, though, and his start this week was fantastic. 8 innings, 10 strikeouts in a win over Texas Tech.
Only 23 pitches to work through the first couple of innings for Stanley. Here's what they do.
Great bunt. Simpson out, fires it, and pulls Garcia off the bag. And Tevin Tucker is safe. Runners at first and second for the Mountaineers.
Well, even though you know they're going to bunt, it's a matter of where it's going to go. Is it going to be out in front of the plate? Is it going to be out in front of the mound? Who's going to be able to take the play? Ball's dead, and Colin Simpson takes the throw, but very off-balanced and hooked the throw and pull Garcia off the bag for a base hit. Third one for them in this ball game.
So the bunt base hit For the Mountaineers, T.J. Lake into scoring position, and that rolls the lineup over for Tyler Dones.
8 of 9 first pitch strikes for Stanley in this ball game, attacking the strike zone.
Alek Manoah is a ringleader when he's not pitching as well. You can hear him. He's vocal down in that dugout. Dones struck out his first time. He's bunting, and it's foul.
If you're at the plate now and you're Dones and you're bunting, bunt it hard enough that you have to convince your third baseman the only out is he's the one that has to come get the baseball. Now you have such great speed on the base paths. If you put down a decent bunt, there's a pretty good chance you may have bases loaded with this team.
They're not afraid to bunt 4 straight at bats.
We saw the other day early in the tournament they bunted 3 straight times, had the bases loaded.
So Alex Garcia is in at first base for Oklahoma State. Lake and Tucker have reached. Mountaineers threatening. And this one is bunted. That's a terrific bunt. Stanley can't reach it. Everybody will be safe. You can't throw it out there any better than that if you're Tyler Dones.
No, and the bunt defense that time for Oklahoma State, your first baseman's coming, your pitcher's covering from the mound, kind of a pie, mound to the third base, straight from the rubber to the third baseline. And Dones bunted it so hard, Stanley couldn't get to the baseball. And that made it difficult because your third baseman goes back over, as Funk does, to take the throw at the bag. So left everything wide open and speed aboard, and you've got the bases loaded.
In the heart of the order, set to come to the plate, Brandon White, the center fielder. He lined out hard to the second baseman, Morrill, his first time. Lake with a clean single. Tucker and Dones bunt base hits to load them up.
White had 3 hits last night, all to the right side of the infield. Really understands what kind of player he is. He doesn't try to hit home runs. He doesn't have any on the year. He's got 26 RBIs. He'll choke up a couple of inches on the bat, spread out his stance for better bat control. Just try to make solid contact. Pretty good pitch right on the outside corner, framed pretty good by Colin Simpson.
Right back up the middle, could be 2, but a run will score. Navigado is able to throw in time and cut down the speedy Brandon White. And that's about as good a result as Oklahoma State could hope for, but the Mountaineers have a 1-0 lead.
I mean, you're going to give up a run to get 2 here. And that ball caught the mound. I thought that made a very good hop, but Navigado did a very athletic move around the bag. And to be able to get his second baseman out of the way to allow have a free shot at going the other way with it. And Morrill got out of his way. Play made, double play, only 1 run in.
So Lake scores. Tevin Tucker is at third with 2 down. Darius Hill, the batter, had a base hit his first time. .37th double play turned by Oklahoma State. To first base, foul.
You're going to see Tevin Tucker at third base. He is going to jump around. He's going to fake like he's trying to steal. He's just trying to get a flinch out of Stanley to commit the balk and allow that other run to score any way they can. Colin Simpson, balls in the dirt. Yeah, you got to become that hockey goalie, not let anything get by you.
Oh, and 2 on Darius Hill.
Another good crowd for the championship ball game. Obviously, a lot of Oklahoma State fans here, but West Virginia well represented behind their dugout.
Darius Hill is West Virginia's all-time leader in games played, starts, at-bats, and doubles.
Boy, nice job. Yeah, that was a good job. That ball was a good 3 feet out in front of home plate. And here at this ballpark, much like Dodger Stadium, and you got to understand, both clubs, they own each other. The Dodgers own this ball club. They really water the home plate area. You can tell the darkness of the mud out in front of home plate. So when a ball hits that, it kind of has a thud to it. It kills it. It doesn't skip. You don't have that sandy, hard soil where it can get by you.
1-2, squib toward third. Bare hand by Funk. Throw a one-hopper. Great backhand by Garcia. That saves a run. Terrific plays on both ends. Funk and Garcia. The Mountaineers get only one run. Great defense, George.
Great defense comes through, and again, and this is a very difficult play, but you practice it. It's the accuracy of the throw. 1-0 Mountaineers.
We have a review of that last play. The umpires are down in the first base dugout taking a look at out or safe at first base.
Well, I thought he picked the ball cleanly. It beat him. Now, did the foot come off the top? I didn't see it. The foot was still on top of the bag.
That's an out.
You can see that. Now, the difference on the college level and the big league level is, for instance, the Rockies have Brian Jones, former Cowboy, by the way, went to Oklahoma State. But as a video coordinator, they will call immediately, and he's got 6 looks, says yes or no. You're going by the naked eye in college.
Right.
So you're saying, did the foot come off enough? Did it not? And so Randy Mazey chose to have this off of his gut reaction of whether the foot came off or not. I don't see it. I see it as an out from our replay and our vantage point, which is great camera work.
Great job by the crew. It looks like even if it was initially off the bag, he kind of leaned back into it. So it is an out. It is confirmed by this umpiring crew. And we had to break once again. 1-0 Mountaineers headed to the last of the third on Fox Sports.
What's good, Josh? It's Deshaun. Man, I know what you're going through. You know, sometimes you get a great hand, and other times you don't. Living in your dad's car, always on the move, you played the hand you had, and it paid off. Hey, the card's about to be dealt again, Josh.
The Oakland Raiders select Josh Jacobs.
This is your time, my dog.
The thing about legends is, they're not born legends. They train harder. They sacrifice more. They're willing to bleed more than you. And just when you think their story is over, they're on to the next chapter.
Welcome back to Bricktown Ballpark. West Virginia taking the 1-0 lead in the top of the third as we head to the bottom of the third. Some spectacular defense right there by Oklahoma State to get out of that inning. Standing by with Cowboy pitcher Jensen Elliott. Well, what does that do for a pitcher to see your defense come up big like that?
Oh, there's a lot of confidence that you get from that. Obviously, Brett made a good pitch there, and Funk made a heck of a play. So hopefully that leads a little momentum into our offense right here, and we get rolling.
Well, let's just talk about what it took for you guys to get to this game. As it was just this morning, you know, you have to come from behind to beat TCU. How would you just describe the fight of this team and wanting to play another baseball game together?
Yeah, the whole year, it really hadn't mattered what the score is. We feel like we're in any ball game. We stay very relaxed and composed, and that showed this morning. I mean, they got off to a hot start. Actually, we did too, and then we kind of had a couple innings where we struggled swinging the bat, but then at the end of the game, we came in clutch when we needed to, and it was a big-time win to lead into this one.
Obviously, you combined for a shutout win on Thursday night to get to this winner's bracket as well. A year ago, you weren't even able to pitch in this tournament. So how important was it for you to come out and have such a big performance for this team?
Well, it was awesome. I mean, I just want to get out there and do everything I can for this team. And I'm blessed to say that I'm back on the mound doing what I love to do every day. So, yeah, I mean, obviously last year wasn't that much fun for me, but it was good to be out there and compete for my ball club.
How would you describe the journey of going down, knowing they have to have Tommy John, and getting back to where you are at this point?
Honestly, God is good. The whole path with him, I mean, he
he carried me, my family carried me. It was a rough patch for me, but my family was always there, my teammates were always there, my coaches are always there, and I'm blessed to say I'm on the other side of it.
And last thing for you, how do you feel about the rest of the Oklahoma State Arms making it through the rest of this game?
We have a very deep bullpen, so I'm excited to see some of the Arms come out and do what they do.
All right, appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Jessica. His performance on Thursday night, 6 innings, 2 hits, part of a shutout pitched by the Cowboys that night. A 5-0 win.
Interesting thing with Elliott is, you know, he was basically 2-year recovery off Tommy John. Most of the time, 15 to 18. But I think with Rob Walton and just basically said, hey, you're not ready. We're not going to push it. We're going to take your time, and you're going to come back 100% before we do anything with you. And they have reaped the benefits this year.
Jake Taylor inserted in the DH spot here for the Cowboys, and he will see an 8th pitch from Nick Snyder, who has struck out 5 of the last 6 Cowboys. Oklahoma State, not just Jensen Elliott back from injury, but Parker Scott, another guy who missed all of last year, coming back from surgery. They have him this year. Taylor hits this one foul. Jensen Elliott's brother Jake, pitcher at Oklahoma, drafted last summer. Here is Jake Taylor, .215 hitter, 2 homers, 4 driven in, sophomore from Shawnee, Oklahoma. And strike 3 called to him. Lengthy at bat, but it ends up the 4th straight strikeout and 6th overall for Snyder.
Just a great location with a fastball, using that 6'6" frame for leverage to get downhill on the baseball.
Here's Cade Cavanis, who's had quite the Big 12 championship.
Couple of home runs, 7 on the year, 26 RBIs.
Cavanis hit a grand slam yesterday in Oklahoma State's loss to TCU. Hit a 2-run home run earlier today. It's been feast or famine. He struck out 8 times in this championship, and he's in a whole 0-2 against Snyder. Fouls that one out of play. This was earlier today, Cade Cavanis.
Well, he's got this kind of strength. This wasn't wind blowing here, folks. This ball got up out over the Budweiser sign, and high fives. McCusker with his, and then the rest of the ball club surrounded in celebration.
And Cavanis fouls another one off. So Josh Holliday between games said, good to see this guy coming around a little bit. 6 home runs in the tournament. Simpson 3, Cavanis 2, and Boone with 1. West Virginia has hit 1 home run in this championship as that comes in and hits Cade Cavanis.
Nothing intentional on a 1-2 count, trying to ride a fastball up and in when you're trying to go down and away.
The second baseman, Houston.
That ends a stretch of 7 in a row retired.
Yeah, that fastball just got away from him. You can see the jump by Rodriguez, or excuse me, Gonzalez, the catcher. He was sitting on the outside corner expecting down and low, and they got high and tight.
Mountaineers not afraid to pitch you in. That's the 12th batter Snyder has hit. Manoah has hit 13.
Both guys throwing the low 90s, Manoah mid 90s, sometimes upper 90s that you get hit with.
No thanks.
Manoah hit, wasn't it Josh Young the other day at start against Tech? Hey, just looking for a crack in the armor. Maybe this is it for Oklahoma State, where a 2-out hit batsman. Excuse me, 1-out hit batsman. A base hit, some movement, things start to go.
Upstairs, a lot of throws to first by Nick Snyder. And we talk about a head coach or pitching coach calling pitches. What about throws to first?
Absolutely. And what that does, that just tightens things up. But defensively, the Mountaineers very good up the middle and on the corner. So, you know, the more you can tighten that up at first base on the lead, the better chance of turning the double play ball if a ball gets on the ground.
Houston Morrill fouls this one off. He walked his first time. Current RPIs as of today have Oklahoma State 8, West Virginia 12. That generally means you're going to host a regional. You get in that top 16, you're in good shape. And TCU up there 10 or 11. Or I should say Texas Tech up there 10 or 11. But for Oklahoma State, this might be a chance to clinch a potential super regional spot, a national seed.
Well, they've had the #1 strength of schedule this year, and part of that going to Corvallis and playing a very good team there. Oregon is ranked, what, third in the country?
Oregon State, the defending national champ, and so Oklahoma State swept them.
They were third in the country at the time they went in there. I think they held them to 4 runs over a 3-game span and swept the series.
Houston Morrill takes this pitch outside.
There's a lot of thought in that process. Stay home and play somebody else from another conference, or do you want to travel on the road against with a veteran team and stiff competition at the end of the year in preparation of what might be in front of you going to Omaha?
I say stay home as long as you can. Speaking of that, 2 Big 12 softball teams will be essentially coming home. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both making the Women's College World Series. And that'll begin later this week, about 10 miles away from here.
And a fairly new ballpark. It's a new renovated ballpark.
It's a beautiful renovated ballpark. They've redone the press box. Part of a couple of phases of renovations over at Hall of Fame Stadium. Oklahoma State fans getting on Nick Snyder. It's not going to faze him.
On the Big 12, the golf teams have done very, very well. Big 12 gymnastics this year. Women's basketball. Texas Tech basketball. Good year for the Big 12.
It has been. This is fouled out of play by Morrill. Oklahoma State is the defending men's golf national champion, and Oklahoma the champs before that. Houston Morrill battling away. And in fact, you've got Oklahoma State, Texas, and Oklahoma all in the top 4 of the regional being played over at Fayetteville. Oklahoma State is leading. They have a 25-shot lead in that thing over in Fayetteville, trying to defend their national title. What a battle here between Morrill and Nick Snyder. Pitch count up at 55 for Snyder. Seventh pitch of the at-bat, and it results in another strikeout. Nick Snyder's winning all of the battles, lengthy though they may be.
A lot of fastballs he was able to foul off. The last pitch, a very good slider. You can see the change of the plane on the flight of the baseball to home plate. Threw it to the back foot of that right-handed hitter who had given a valiant battle, but the slider won out.
7 strikeouts for Nick Snyder. He's walked 1 and hit 1. Those are the only 2 base runners. Oklahoma State without a hit. Christian Funk is in. Struck out swinging his first time. You get an idea of why he averages nearly 14 strikeouts per 9 innings, and as you said, had a 16 punch-out game this year.
No hitter for 8 2/3 in that ball game. He had walked a batter in the 3rd inning, and then gave up a bloop single with 2 outs in the 9th to lose his bid for a no-hitter.
So we see the velocity, which is low 90s fastball. What else about him is special?
Hard, quick slider. It's a very quick arm action. You watch it come out of the glove. It gets behind the head in a hurry, almost to a catcher's motion. You don't see it get real deep on the backside. And I think that alone makes the 88-91 look like 91-93. And then a snap slider.
Pulling back on a bow.
Yeah, and then a snap slider, and he put out. Hasn't used the changeup a lot in this series. We haven't seen it. And he hasn't needed it.
In the air to left, ball really carrying this way, but it'll be blown foul. That's the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame now. Formerly restaurant space, but the Oklahoma Sparks Hall of Fame located there now. You see, down the left field line here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. All of the great legends in the state of Oklahoma honored there. One ball, two strikes to Christian Funk. Reaches out, sends a fly ball toward Brandon White. Galloping to his right, inning over. Two more strikeouts, a hit batsman, and one man left. 1-0 Mountaineers moving to the fourth in the Big 12 championship game.
Moving into the fourth inning here at the Big 12 Championship, standing by with Oklahoma State head coach Josh Holliday. Well, Coach, through 4 innings, your hitters have just 2 base runners, 7 strikeouts. What do you need to see? What adjustments do you need to see from your hitter?
Well, this young man's got a sneaky fastball. He's really attacked us with it, and we've had a hard time, getting the barrel on it. We fouled a bunch of them off and swung underneath some of them. So hopefully second time through the order, we'll get a little better timing with him. But he's got a sneaky fastball and a little bit of a unique arm slot.
We spoke with Jensen Elliott last inning. He said he's got a lot of confidence in the rest of the arms you got left. What about you?
Of course, yeah. Every kid in uniform's got an opportunity to do something today. So we'll run Brett out there as long as he can go, and then we'll turn to the next guy up.
Coach, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys?
All right, thank you, Jessica. And thanks to Josh Holliday. Brett Stanley, so far so good. I think 4 hits scattered, 1 run given up on this stage. Pretty solid, George.
Very solid, and like what you see from him. And a lot of strikes thrown. The last inning, 11 of 13 pitches were strikes that he was able to work through. He gave up a run, but a lot of bunts. And none of the balls left the infield.
Middle third of the West Virginia lineup here. Inman, McIntosh, and Gonzalez. Marcus Inman hit a fly ball to the right fielder Cade Cavanis, his first time. Two and one. Inman is 4 out of 16 here in this Big 12 championship. Has a couple of doubles. He's driven in 4.
The same type of wind we've had at the ballparks here today. We had a strong gust out of the south, so a lot of balls that went to left obviously carried out of the ballpark, but balls down the right field line had where they pushed into foul territory come back into fair territory and make catches here. So today not quite the same conditions as it had been the last 3 or 4 days.
Another one foul out of play. It's still going to carry toward left and left center a little bit, but to really get that carry, you'll have to get the ball up above the stadium where it jet streams across the top. Two balls and 2 strikes to Inman. In the air, straightaway center field for Trevor Boone. Wind coming out of the south-southeast today. Really blowing toward the left field corner. Beautiful day, about 85 degrees.
Just the 3rd fly ball out for Stanley. He's been able to keep the ball on the ground now. 5 of 11. Almost a little less than 50% ground ball out ratio, which is what you're looking to do.
Here's Paul McIntosh. With this West Virginia club, are you better off with fly balls the way they run than ground balls?
Well, if you can't keep it in the park.
Yeah.
That's the hard part here. The way the ball flies around in here. You get a little dangerous. The ball gets into left field.
Nothing in 2 on McIntosh. He flied out to the center fielder Boone his first time. West Virginia has the lone run of this game. 3 straight hits, including bunt hits by Tucker and Dones. And then TJ Lake scored on a double play hit into by Brandon White. 1-0. Over the outside edge, strike 3 called. And Brett Stanley has his second strikeout of the afternoon.
Yeah, that was framed very well by Colin Simpson on the outside part of the plate. You get a hard slider working away. You've got to have a strong hand and receive the baseball and not create a whole lot of movement. Exactly what he did with it. Squared the center of the body and got the strikeout.
Now Gonzalez with the bases empty and 2 gone. Ivan Gonzalez grounded to Christian Funk at third, his first time. 1-1. Gonzalez 5 out of 15 this week.
Where we've seen Snyder up in the zone getting swings and misses, with Stanley we've seen calls made with the ball down. If an umpire knows where you're going to work into a zone, they'll typically stay with you, and then that's where it starts to widen or create opportunities for you as a pitcher. Now sometimes if you're all over the place, as we've seen, and walk people, that becomes a long day for you and the umpire. Both these guys have had the ability to work pretty well.
Stanley that time coming up and in after Gonzalez. Fan making a barehanded catch over there. And he's wearing a Dodgers uniform. This is the AAA home of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. A future Cody Bellinger there. Kind of looks like Bellinger. Swing and a miss. Stanley back-to-back strikeouts, and he works a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Kind of a pitcher's duel shaping up. We'll see if Oklahoma State's long ball hitting club can get its offense going when they come to the plate in the bottom of the fourth.
To the bottom of the fourth we go. Randy Macy's Mountaineers with a 1-0 lead over Oklahoma State. Well, Coach Nick Snyder, 7 strikeouts. What have you seen from him, and what are your expectations for him moving forward?
Well, this is Nick Snyder. He's been doing it all year. Nobody in the league has seen him. He's been our midweek guy, but this is what he does every time out.
You guys have obviously played pretty well out here in this ballpark all week. You got another away crowd again that you're facing. You talked about your schedule, how you play so much away from home. How much did that prepare you for getting here today?
Yeah, you know, we're road warriors. We always are. If you play baseball in West Virginia, you got to get used to playing on the road. So this is just old hat for us.
Coach, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys?
All right. Thank you, Jessica. Randy Macy and the Mountaineers. So many games away from home to start the year. I believe it was 14 of their first 25. Randy Macy, a big proponent of moving the college baseball season back. Started in warmer weather, finish it later in the year. There's the first base hit for the Cowboys. It comes leading off the fourth from catcher Colin Simpson.
Well, a strikeout victim back in the first inning on a fastball up and in the zone. You know, they try to go back with the fastball, left it over the plate. Simpson's swing is very long when it crosses over the plate, so he can cover a lot of area on the outside part, and he sneaks it through the right side.
Looks like a pitching change is going to be made by the Mountaineers. We told you that this was not the first start in this championship for Nick Snyder. He doesn't look too excited about it, but this is a guy that pitched 4 2/3 back on Wednesday in a win over Kansas. And what a job. 1 hit allowed through 3 innings plus. And a pitching change for West Virginia. Mountaineers lead it 1-0. An excellent 3 innings for Nick Snyder. He has just allowed his first base hit, George, but 7 strikeouts and only 1 walk through 3 innings plus for the lefty.
Well, they're not going to do anything to jeopardize a kid's career, or here in the Big 12 that will affect what may happen later this week when they start to play in a regional. All the guns got to be ready and loaded and ready to go when you get into that regional. Call your arms. And so they go down to the bullpen. They're going to bring in a very rested Madison Jeffrey. 9 1/3 innings on the year. He's walked 10, struck out 10. The opposition just a $125, but he'll come in and try to work through this inning and complete what Snyder has started and what he's accomplished so far in this game.
Madison Jeffrey has not pitched in this Big 12 championship. Saw him loosen in the bullpen, but has not been out there. So he's rested, similar to Brett Stanley for Oklahoma State, who had not pitched in this event before making the start today.
There's another look at his numbers over time and what he'd been able to do. Well, for Snyder, it was 3 innings pitched. You mentioned the hit, 61 pitches, 46 strikes. He threw 102 pitches the other day on Wednesday on 4 2/3.
So it is Madison Jeffrey. Hasn't even pitched 10 innings on the season. He goes to work against the top home run hitting club in the Big 12. And Andrew Navigado with Colin Simpson at first base and nobody out. Navigado is at 12 home runs. That one came close to our field microphone. Navigado grounded out to third his first time today, but he is 8 of 18 with a double and 3 runs batted in here in the Big 12 championship. Well hit, straightaway center. Brandon White, though, has a lot of real estate, and he'll pull it in. That got the Oklahoma State fans excited, but a routine fly ball.
You know, I talked to numerous scouts, and you watch him play. That play was very evident of how he plays. The ball was hit well. What did he do? He sprinted back to a spot, knowing and waiting on the baseball, and then stands there and waits on it instead of float, 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 backpedal, backpedal. It's just a sprint to the area. Stop, receive the baseball, and get it back in. The perfect way. You couldn't teach it any better.
Makes spectacular plays, but even the routine plays are done right. Trevor Boone was a strikeout victim his first time. Madison Jeffrey really closed off with his front foot, George, when he sets up.
Start trying to hide the baseball a little bit longer, prevent the hitters from getting a good look at it. Some kids will do that if they can control the upper and lower half. When we say getting connected going to the plate, some guys that close like that open too quick with the lower half, and then that way your arm will drop in the zone. It will not stay on top of the baseball.
Boone sends one out toward White. That's a graveyard with him running out there, and Jessica has more on the speedy, spectacular Mountaineer center fielder.
Well, Chad, believe it or not, Brandon White has not been playing in the outfield his entire life. In fact, he actually only made the move to center field in high school. He played in the infield his entire life. But, you know, he said it's just been practice, making those plays look routine. Him and his dad would go out in the yard, and they would just go over and over all those kinds of scenarios, making those diving catches. But he said it actually all started with a football. He played wide receiver, and so laying out for those footballs, it actually came natural when he started to lay out for all those baseballs out in the outfield. And, you know, obviously his speed helps and all of the God-given natural abilities. But I asked him what was the want-to behind making those plays, and he said it's fun. You know, gets the team going. It's a big energy boost, and the dugout, everybody it just really gets me going. So I asked him also which outfielder he is, kind of modeled his game after, who is his inspiration. He said Andrew McCutchen is one of his favorite players. So there you go, guys.
I played at Pittsburgh for the Steelers for a number of years, and I can see why it would be an idol. McCutchen is a very good guy to pattern your game after. To me, he reminds me of a young Billy Hamilton. The guy that's going to hit between 250, 270, professionally steal a lot of bases, and play a tremendous center field.
His dad, Curtis, played in the NFL and at the University of Florida. Carson McCusker down 0-2, struck out his first time. Madison Jeffrey ready. There goes Colin Simpson, swung on and missed. So out of the pen, Madison Jeffrey, a leadoff single by Colin Simpson, but then the Cowboys set down 1-2-3 by the right-hander out of the bullpen. West Virginia leads this Big 12 championship game 1-0, headed to the 5th. The kiddos playing some cornhole in the outfield. We welcome you back to the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. With George Frazier, I'm Chad McKee. The game is on the field, and probably just as intense for the kiddos out there on the hill outside the right center field wall. Mountaineers on top 1-0. They got their run on a double play ground ball. And it's been a pitcher's duel. Brett Stanley's been very good for Oklahoma State.
And how good has he been? 39 of 53 pitches for strikes through 4 innings. The big thing that jumps out at me, 13 of 15 first pitch strikes, 4 0-2 counts. It really worked ahead of hitters well. I know Snyder's pitched well, and I know Stanley's losing in this game 1-0, but he's been short of brilliant.
He'll face the lower third of the order, Brophy, Lake, and Tucker here in the 5th. 1-1. Brophy hit a comebacker to Brett Stanley back in the 2nd.
I feel like Mike Morris, the home plate umpire, has been outstanding today. He's allowed both sides of the plate, allowed the pitchers to work up in the zone, down in the zone.
Brophy 3 out of 16 in this Big 12 championship. Up the middle, the shortstop Navigado was kind of shaded towards second base anyway, and he throws out Kevin Brophy.
If you get your momentum going to the glove side, for whatever reason, some guys are just better. And when they cross those legs over, get to a position to field the baseball, he's able to square this ball right up in the middle. And then a snap throw over to first base to Garcia.
TJ Lake scored the lone run of this game back in the 3rd inning. He singled to start it, then bunt hits by Tucker and Domes. And Lake scored when Brandon White grounded into a double play. Lake has hit the only West Virginia home run here in the Big 12 championship. 0-2 on him, though. Stanley just missed low with that one. If you're asking Josh Holliday, Rob Walton, what they hoped to get out of Stanley today, George, if they thought he could get through 5, I bet they would have been elated as he sends this one right at the right fielder Cabanis. 2 gone.
Well, it's impressive because of the number of strikes he's thrown, but also the quick outs, the 0-2 counts, first pitch strikes, all of those things. Is what I think's made him successful today.
Josh Holliday directing some of the defense. Rob Walton, the pitching coach, takes care of that side of it. Just about every team does it a little differently. Randy Mazey orchestrates everything to a certain extent, calls the offense and the pitches for the Mountaineers.
Well, at this point in the tournament, it's about outs. It's not about strikeouts. It's about outs. I mean, Snyder punched out a bunch of guys, but if you can get quick outs, get your offense, and what you hope. I mean, Josh made a good comment when Jess interviewed him and said hopefully second time through. Well, second time through, he was gone. You know, Snyder was out of the lineup. Now you got to address and go face your next guy that you got to deal with. What does he offer? He hadn't been in a lot of games. What does he throw? Where video and the scouting reports come out pretty quickly.
Tucker right back through the box on an 0-2 pitch. He comes through with his second hit. West Virginia had a devastating injury to Braden Zarbniski, and Tucker kind of forced in early to play shortstop as a freshman. He's produced things like this.
Very simple swing. Doesn't try to do too much with the baseball. Doesn't try to overpower things.
5 hits for the Mountaineers, 2 of them from Tevin Tucker. That rolls the lineup over.
Let's see if Randy Mazey decides to put some things in motion here and turn Tucker loose. He has a tremendous amount of speed. 19 of 24 stolen bases on the year.
Think about that. He has 30 hits, I should say, this year after 2 today. 30 hits, 19 stolen bases. Stanley throws over. Tyler Dones singled back in the 3rd. Pushed a beautiful bunt all the way out to the shortstop, Navigado, right past the pitcher, Stanley. And at the time, that loaded the bases for the Mountaineers. They would get only 1 run as White hit into the double play that scored that run, and then Stanley got Darius Hill. It began with promise that inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, but they got only 1. Tyler Dones was on the Big 12 All-Freshman team last year. Honorable mention All-League in 2019. And 2-0.
Now step off the mound, gather yourself, and just go back through your process of what made you successful through the whole game. Got 2 outs. Don't panic just because you have speed at first. I am a firm believer. You start worrying about things at first base, take your concentration off the hitter at the plate, you're going to have failure on the field. And that, some guys say, oh, you got to slide step, particularly catchers. You got to slide step. Well, if it takes away from my direction, takes away from my success on the pitch, why do I need to slide step every time?
It's more important to throw strikes first than control the run.
Yeah, no question. I mean, so, okay, I was 1-2-5 and gave your catcher a chance, but I threw a belt-tie fastball and he hit it over the fence. Who won here?
Exactly. And Colin Simpson, veteran senior catcher, out to try to calm this redshirt freshman, Brett Stanley. And he provides paint on the outside corner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'll work out that way. Keep driving the baseball, baby.
West Virginia, speed at the top and bottom of its lineup. 93 stolen bases as a team.
Oklahoma State fans wanted a called strike. That's all the guys do. I mean, they have that ability to work counts.
Two down, Tucker at first base. Full count.
Pretty good on that fastball at 92 miles an hour, outside corner and down.
So Tevin Tucker will be moving with this payoff pitch in 2 down. There he goes, and it's fouled out of play. Dones has a little bit of pop. He's hit 5 home runs this year. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat between Stanley and Dones. Ball 4. That is the first walk that Stanley has issued today. Now you have 37 combined stolen bases on the base paths.
A speedy guy at the plate, too. 26 of 32 stolen bases with White. Look for him to hit the ball through the right side or bunt the ball up third baseline and let it run and let the middle of this order try to add to the 1-0 lead. And Rob Walton's going to go out and have a slow visit.
As activity stirs out in the Oklahoma State bullpen, here's Rob Walton. Went to 4 College World Series as an Oklahoma State player. And he was there when Tom Holliday, the father of current OSU head coach Josh Holliday, was the pitching coach for Gary Ward.
Now, Dave Holliday works as a special assistant to the Atlanta Braves, was there also helping Tom and Coach Ward. They both played for him at Yavapai Community College in Arizona.
That's Mitchell Stone loosening up. And this has been, as you said, kind of like a year-long reunion for Oklahoma State baseball as they send out Allie P. Reynolds Stadium in style. Set to open O'Brate Stadium next year. Welcoming a lot of the past greats, and there are a bunch of them back to Stillwater. Renderings of the beautiful stadium. I was talking with Josh Holliday about it. They can expand it to 8,000 seats, 13 suites in this thing, and of course, completely new clubhouse. They've got an area in there for the student athletes to study. O'Brate Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. $75 million, the approximate cost of that. So Rob Walton back to the dugout. Brandon White in. Runners first and second and 2 gone.
Nobody knows your pitcher better than the head coach and your pitching coach. So if you start to see a diminishing velocity direction where you're going with your pitches, that's why you see a little bit of activity, very little, going on out in the bullpen of Oklahoma State.
Fly ball, right field. Cabanis races to it, and the inning is over. Brandon White flies out to Cabanis. The threat goes by the boards for the Mountaineers, who were trying to pad their lead. A walk, a hit, but 2 men left. 1-0 West Virginia, halfway through the Phillips 66 Big 12 baseball championship game. 1-0 Mountaineers on top. West Virginia, second appearance in the Big 12 championship game, trying to win it for the first time. Oklahoma State in the Big 12 tourney finals for the 4th time since 2014. They won it back in 2017 when they had to. It was the only way they were getting into the NCAA tournament. Garrett McCain, an All-American that year, led the Cowboys to the championship here in Bricktown. They're trying to take it home again. Alex Garcia, Jake Taylor, and Cade Cabanis, lower third of the Oklahoma State lineup here in the 5th against Madison Jeffrey. Garcia struck out against Nick Snyder, who fanned 7 in 3 innings before he left.
Yeah, did a very good job with everything. He was just kind of on top of his game, reached his pitch limit when he got above 60, and they went down and grabbed Madison, brought him into the ball game, and he's been very effective so far.
And Snyder threw 102 pitches against Kansas in his start back on Wednesday, so that's why his time was limited today.
That's your 4th day, typically a bullpen day. that you would, if that midweek starts, you throw on Sunday, pitch on Wednesday.
Fly ball to right, Darius Hill. Was asking Randy Mazey, how hard might it be? This game is close, and it is, and late, and we're getting there. To keep Alek Manoah, he may just spread out onto the mound.
I got a feeling that Randy Mazey's not going to let that happen.
Nope. Said Manoah went out to the bullpen yesterday and came back, and Mazey said, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah. No, we're not going to do that. Loved your heart, your desire for West Virginia, but the future's bright. And, oh, by the way, you're starting Thursday.
The same thing with Oklahoma State. Josh Holliday not going to risk anything at Jensen Elliott, who threw about 100 pitches the other day. Bright future for him. Jake Taylor struck out looking his first time.
At the time Jake Taylor was inserted as the DH, the left-hander Snyder was on the mound. And now you've got the right-hander on the mound. And Josh choosing not to make a switch here.
3 balls, no strikes to Jake Taylor. Taylor playing in his 29th game. Did some catching a year ago. There's a little bit of activity out in both bullpens. Mountaineers have gone to theirs for Madison Jeffrey here. 3-2. Taylor thought he had just taken ball 4. I'm with you, though. I think Mike Morris's strike zone has been steady and consistent.
Very consistent with every pitch call so far. That ball may have been a little high, may have been a little full, but it's not has not been away. This ball pulled into the upper deck when Euchre seats.
The front row?
Yeah, they're right up in the front row. It's like, I bought these not to be bothered, and now they're throwing balls at me.
This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Taylor saw 8 pitches his first time before he struck out.
Look out.
Boy, he rifles that one into his own dugout. Looks like everybody is accounted for over there.
Not only is that bar there, but they also have netting there for a good reason. Hello, how are you? Hit it the other way, will you, please? The ball hit the net and rolled off, and they then ducked.
And that hit Taylor. They will appeal and ask, did he swing? And yes is the answer. So the first base umpire, Doug Williams, said that Taylor swung at the pitch before it hit him.
Randy Mazey wants an explanation. Let's see what happens. I mean, the bat does come through swinging at it, and I'm not sure what it caught or where it caught him.
That did not hit Taylor. It was a foul ball. So the question would be, if it was a foul ball called by Mike Morris, why did he appeal to first base? That's probably what Randy Mazey is asking, George.
Well, and it's a big part of the game. I mean, there's 1 out, 3-2 count, right on right. And Randy wants an explanation, and obviously he's not liking what he's getting.
It's pretty clear from this angle. It's a swing, but a foul ball called. Of course, say this. We'll try to listen in a little bit down there, although Mazey's gone back. Only thing I would say about this is Gonzalez is a really good catcher. Rare for him to miss a ball that didn't hit the bat. This is popped up foul. This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat to Jake Taylor.
Ready to go.
And it's ball 4. In a close game like this, that might be an at-bat, even though it's a walk, that you kind of have to put a star by.
Well, they can't be frustrated by the call or non-call by a home plate umpire. You got to continue to make the pitch and not look back. He tried. They fought it off. Taylor did, and he worked the walk.
That'll get Cade Cabanis to the plate. He has homered the last 2 days. Grand slam against TCU yesterday and a 2-run home run earlier today against the Horned Frogs. Trying to hit another one out.
Big swing on a breaking ball. Off-speed pitch. Trying to ambush the fastball. Got well in front of the off-speed pitch.
Oh, 0-2. Cabanis was on the Big 12 freshman team 2 years ago. He was drafted by the Cardinals coming out of high school, 21st round.
Very good player. Actually played a couple of years ahead of Cade Cavalli, the big right-hander at the University of Oklahoma. Cabanis was in right and Cavalli was at short at Bixby High School for Glenn Sullivan, a former Sooner. That played it professionally up to AAA level. Had coached at the collegiate level.
Cabanis not only homers in back-to-back days, he's homered 4 times in the last 7 games. 1-2 the count.
You go fastball here, you better locate.
And he did. Cabanis strikes out.
Chased the ball out of the zone. He's so anxious to swing the bat. And it's kind of like predetermined, no matter where the pitch is, I want to make an effort to try to get after it. And this is an off-speed pitch to the outside corner, a straight change that he chased. And lays himself talking to himself on the way to the dugout.
Jeffrey's second strikeout. That's 9 strikeouts for West Virginia pitching today. Nine strikeouts in 14 outs. Back to the top of the order for Morrill. Ooh. Man, that one smarts.
Now, this is one of those deals trying to win this tournament, but the last thing you want to do is have a player hurt prior to heading to Stillwater to play in a regional. Man, caught him pretty clean there. It looked like right on the finger of the bat. It's one thing to get hit in his shoulder or arm where you can peel away from it and kind of deflect some of it. Boy, when it gets you like that, that's not a good situation. Josh Holliday there along with their head trainer.
So Houston Morrill being checked out. It's like those fingers, as you alluded to. They're going to take the batting glove out and get a closer look.
Yeah, I love trainers. They used to come out all the time to fielders and you see little red spots. So is this where it got you? And they start pressing.
Does that hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts.
Here, let me hit you with something. Hey, you see a little bit of swelling there above the knuckle. Through here. Now it's a squeeze test. So, squeeze my hand as hard as you can. And if you're not able to do that, pretty good indication you got something broken.
Well, let's look and listen again. Well, Morrill is okay. He will stay in.
The third baseman, Christian Fong.
God, I don't think back in high school and early professional baseball, and they'd run out with that silver can and spray some freeze on it and tell you to go play.
It's the first runner that Oklahoma State has had in scoring position in this game. Jake Taylor at second base. He walked. Morrill hit by pitch. And with 2 gone, here's Christian Fong.
There is a left-hander loose in the West Virginia bullpen. Zach Reed is the left-hander for West Virginia.
That one bounces, played nicely by Gonzalez. Gonzalez, very good defensive catcher. In fact, he's thrown out 16 of 37 would-be base stealers. First at bat with a man in scoring position all day in this one for the Cowboys. Funk has struck out and fly to center today. First pitch to him misses. And Christian Funk just one hit in this Big 12 championship. That one bounds away, but Gonzalez is there. And a walk to Funk would load the bases for Colin Simpson, who's homered 3 times in this Big 12 championship.
Big moment player, too. You think back a year ago, and then when they had to win the tournament in 2017, how many big hits Colin Simpson came up with, and how many he has come up with in this tournament this year for their ball club.
In fact, Colin Simpson hit 2 home runs against West Virginia in that 2017 Big 12 tournament for Oklahoma State. 3-0 pitch gets past Ivan Gonzalez. Won't really matter. It's ball 4 anyway, and the bases are loaded for Colin Simpson. Well, the Oklahoma State fans haven't had a lot to cheer about in this game. They watched their team walk off with a win in the 10th over TCU earlier. But this guy will try to change their fortunes in the championship game.
Yeah, and Randy Mazey's going to make that switch. Anticipated this coming.
We'll go to a lefty-lefty matchup. Colin Simpson coming to the plate. Mountaineers well aware of the power of Colin Simpson, as we told you. So the third Mountaineer pitcher of the day is coming on. He's been getting loose for some time. Zach Reed will enter the fray with the bases loaded and 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, it is crazy. You know, I don't think people understand the pop we have 1 through 9. I always joke with Boone about it. I tell him that we might have the most pop 1 through 9 for any lineup in the country. And, you know, it doesn't matter who walks to the plate. That person that's at the plate has a chance to change the game in one swing. And I don't think I've been on a team at Oklahoma State that has had that much power in one lineup since I've been here.
Indeed, the Cowboys do lead the Big 12 Conference with 84 home runs. They've hit 6 here in the Big 12 Championship, 3 of them by this guy who's coming to the plate, Colin Simpson.
And they're trying to get the scouting report correctly over to Colin Simpson. They talk about the sidearm, and then they talk about the overtop, the curveball, but his home runs have been a big part of what's gone on here for this ball club in this tournament.
He's hit 3 of them in this championship. Only game he hasn't homered in was earlier today, the win over TCU. 14 on the season. And as we said, he victimized West Virginia in the Big 12 championship of 2017. Hit 18 home runs a year ago. Zach Reed in for the Mountaineers. Tough spot for this left-hander. Second time he's pitched in the championship.
2-0 overall record on the season, and it's making his 19th appearance, 245 earned run average. He can strike out a few. What Josh Holliday was trying to tell the 2 hitters is he will drop down sidearm on left-handers, so the fastball and the curveball. And there's first offering with a sidearm fastball at 86. He will go on top and throw a 12-6 curveball to right-handers and stay on top for a fastball. So, in other words, a lot of angles, depending on who's at the plate, right or left-handed.
Simpson got Oklahoma State's first hit in the 4th inning. 2-0. Reed pitched a third of an inning against Kansas back on Wednesday here in this championship, and he gave up 3 hits.
Tough spot you're in, bases loaded, 1-0 ball game. 2 outs, got a power hitter at the plate.
2 walks and a hit batsman in the inning. They appeal to third and no swing, says Jeff Henricks, the third base umpire. It is 3-0. The shift is on here for the Mountaineers.
And this crowd has woke up.
Ball 4, and we're tied. A bases-loaded walk to Colin Simpson, and it's 1 apiece in the Big 12 championship game. That might be the easiest RBI Colin Simpson's had this year.
Yeah, just watch 4 pitches go by, and then this game's starting to slip away a little bit and get tied up because of the inability to throw the ball over the plate. 3 walks in the inning and a hit batsman, and they've scored a run on the board.
2 down, and here is Navigado. And that's 5 straight out of the strike zone for Reed. Oklahoma State a run without a hit to tie this game. One and one. Navigado has hit 12 home runs this year. Pretty good pop out of your shortstop. Sam Kessler is getting warm out in the West Virginia bullpen. He is a right-hander.
8 saves for them, so it's Randy Mazey trying to shut things down in this inning, slow the game down, and try to make sure it stays where it is if he has to.
Well hit to left field. Lake is back to the warning track, reaches up, and it's off the wall. In to score is Morrill. Rounding third base, headed to the plate, Colin Simpson. He's out. Oklahoma State, though, has taken the lead here in the Big 12 championship game. Morrill and Funk will score. And Josh Holliday, we're waiting to see if he wants to take a look at this one. And I believe we'll have a review on the play at the plate. So the umpires on the infield will confer. We'll get another look at it.
Yeah, this ball just inches from getting out of the ballpark. When it left the bat, it continued to drift a high leap above. But then as the ball came back in, White comes all the way from his center field position, picks it up, and absolutely throws a strike at the plate. And did the hand get in? It's tough to tell with the white chalk as it came through. Simpson thought he had gotten there. Not sure. And the home plate umpire, Mike Moore, is standing right on top of the play as he went in to look at the review inside. Personally, I think with all the white chalk flying, it's very difficult for me to even see or to make a determination if he got in or not.
I have not seen anything on these replays to say that it'll be overturned, George. How about you?
I haven't either.
Maybe this is the best look.
It's going to have to be the right hand that gets in.
Probably not enough to overturn. It's a great slide by Simpson. But what about the play by Brandon White to come from center field and throw that strike to the plate?
Well, it was absolutely a perfect strike on top of that.
That's the best look we've had, and that looks out.
Yeah, it looks out to me, too. Good call by Mike Morris. And he is in the replay room now making the determination. Out or safe call.
Look at his positioning. That's a perfect spot by the plate umpire, Mike Morris.
Had a lot of help from the other Cowboys that had just scored.
So for now, it's 3-1 Oklahoma State. The inning is over. If it's overturned, it'll be 4-1, and the inning would continue with Navigato at third. The review continues over in the first base dugout. Oklahoma State has taken the lead. Let's get one more look.
If the home plate is in the back area underneath the elbow of Gonzalez, then he's out. And that's what it appeared to me. Too close to call, though.
Once again, the original call was out. You have to have indisputable evidence to overturn that. Critical point of this game. It's the first hit of the inning, and Oklahoma State has plated 3 runs. 2 walks and a hit batsman. Let's watch Brandon White, after the ball hit the top of the wall, sprint over from center field just to make this play. These are the things Randy Macy talks about. He can change a game with his speed and defense.
Well, that's the big thing about it, the speed side of it. They have ruled he is out, and they'll flip the inning over.
Let's watch White here, George.
Watch one more look at White out in center field. The ball by Navigato is hit. He's going to drive in, too. Could have been much more. Just came off of the wall. Then you see White sprint to the baseball and a perfect strike to the plate to get Colin Simpson. It is 3-1 Cowboys.
Welcome back to Bricktown Ballpark as we head to the 6th inning here between Oklahoma State and West Virginia. Hey, this is the spot out here on the berm in center field. I found some Oklahoma State fans, not just any Oklahoma State fans, though. This is Carson, Carter, Brady Holiday, actually. We'll let you guys put that 2 and 2 together. But you guys have a serious cornhole game going on out here. Can you tell me who's winning the game out here?
Well, we just ended it, and he won versus me and him.
Oh, gotcha. Hey, how much fun is this ballpark out here in downtown Oklahoma City with everything going on around it?
This is so much fun. It's been a great environment for us, and we got to learn a lot about baseball this weekend.
Yeah. Do you guys even know what's going on right now?
Yeah. OSU's up 3-1, and top is looking at the scoreboard.
Hey, what do you guys like so much about this baseball team, this Oklahoma State baseball team?
They're all well-rounded, and they all care about each other. And plus, I mean, we're a good team anyways. Yeah.
You got any words of advice for your dad?
Just keep winning.
Just keep winning. I like that. Okay, so if you were going to challenge any Oklahoma State player to a cornhole game, who do you think guarantee I can beat?
I think Bryce Carter, because he always talks so much smack.
Okay.
I got Colin Simpson.
All right, Tank. You're
yeah.
Going with Tank? Yeah.
I would say Carson McCusker because it's my name.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know anyone.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, guys. This is a fun atmosphere out here on the berm. Lots of things going on out here, and you can tell the kids love it, guys.
Some advice, keep winning for Dad. How about that? Good advice. 2 gone. Paul McIntosh, the batter. Stanley has done exactly what Oklahoma State needed him to do, and that's come back out and throw strikes after your team gets you the lead.
Yes, and Rob Walton calling a pretty good game out of the dugout right now, recognizing what pitch is working, even when behind in count, what to go to, where to go to. And he's had a good success on the outer half of the plate today.
Roller to first. Stanley over to field his position and step on the bag. Takes the throw from Garcia. Stanley a shutdown 6th after his Cowboys got him the lead. 3-1 Oklahoma State. This is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. Oklahoma State on top of West Virginia 3-1 here in our championship game at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. Mountaineers going to their 4th pitcher of the day to try to hold things where they are. We saw Nick Snyder, who was brilliant. Didn't allow a hit in 3 innings and struck out 7. We saw Madison Jeffries for an inning and 2/3. Zach Reed a 1/3 of an inning, and now it's the closer, Sam Kessler.
Get some work. Come on and throw the 6th and 7th inning and see if they can hold it to a 3-1 ball game and let this offense jump back into it. 31 2/3, 39 strikeouts. He has 8 walks on the season. You have to take your shot to try to contain and win. And it's not just coming out of the bullpen, but it's also where am I in my lineup? Do I have a chance to maybe get some speed? Who had success against Stanley? The bottom of their lineup was the only one to push a run across so far in this game.
So after Oklahoma State took the 3-1 lead, Stanley had a 6-pitch inning in the top of the 6th.
The doctor couldn't have ordered it any better.
Kessler goes to work against Boone, McCusker, and Garcia. Kessler, second team All-Big. Junior from Mount Sinai, New York. First pitch swung on by Boone. Fly ball into shallow center. White shades his eyes. 1 gone.
White, who chooses not to wear glasses in center field with this high sky, did a nice job just shading his eyes with his hand, open hand, and then put the glove up and made the catch.
First pitch strike to the right-hand batting Carson McCusker. And if you're Randy Mazey, you've got your closer out there. He's only pitched in 1 game here in this championship. Pitched in back of Manoah against Texas Tech back on Thursday night. And Manoah didn't need much backing. So Kessler threw only an inning that night. McCusker to center field. White stopped dead in his tracks. Now comes sprinting in, and nobody will get to it. McCusker opportunistically, as the ball rolls away from White, he'll take second base and have a double.
Respecting the power of McCusker. White's playing deep as he runs after this ball. Everybody peels away expecting White to get there. McCusker never hesitated, particularly after the ball caught the knee of White and kicked away.
It scored a base hit and then an error. So single, error on White, and Alex Garcia the batter. That landed in the Bermuda Triangle. Are kids these days familiar with the Bermuda Triangle, George?
Not at all. No man's land they are.
Yeah, that one they know.
Yeah. Just the second error of the year on White in center field.
Garcia 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, or I should say with a strikeout and a fly ball to right, and he's down 0-2. Rolling 2 strikes to Garcia. At the game-winning hit in the 10th inning to send Oklahoma State to this championship game in their victory over TCU earlier. Strike 3.
Do the slider, which appeared to be a fastball, right at him. And you throw that, you think fastball in. So you give up on the pitch, and you kind of see him roll that left arm in. And it just broke back over the middle of the plate for strike 3.
Now Jake Taylor. He walked and scored in the 3-run Oklahoma State 5th. He's also struck out looking. 1-1 on Jake Taylor.
Good fastball away at 92. Like a lot of good closers, he's got the swing and miss slider and then enough velocity to get it by you when you're sitting there waiting on that hard slider to come. Strikes are the biggest key.
Swing and a miss.
Now there's that wipeout slider. A lot of arm speed and a lot of movement on the pitch away from a right-hander.
Two balls, two strikes to Taylor. Another patient at bat for him. Kessler has been good from the get-go for the Mountaineers. He was honorable mention all conference as a freshman and led the Mountaineers in ERA. Last year, 25 relief appearances, 4-0 with 4 saves. This year as a junior, 8 more saves. Trying to hold Oklahoma State where they are. It'll stay 2-2 on Taylor. Both of these teams playing well at the end of the year. Destination Omaha, hopefully for both. Big 12 has had at least one school in the College World Series each of the last 5 years. They had 3 in 2014 and 2016 and 2 in Omaha last year. Texas Tech and Texas. Taylor to the shortstop. Tevin Tucker. Inning over. A hit and a man left for the Cowboys in the 6th. 3-1 Oklahoma State on top as we move to the 7th. Three to 1 Oklahoma State leads this Phillips 66 Big 12 baseball championship game. With George Frazier, I'm Chad McKee. Top of the 7th inning coming your way. 2/3 of the way through this. So we're talking about teams potentially going to Omaha. This is the #2 RPI league in the country. 8 teams in the top 68, and they have a winning record against all of the other top 8 conferences. At least 4 teams have made the NCAA tournament 19 of the last 22 years since the formation of the league. 4 teams are locks to be in out of the Big 12 as Gonzalez skies one to Trevor Boone in center for the first out in the 7th. That is 80 pitches for Stanley. So we talked about this earlier. These 2 teams in Texas Tech predicted to host regionals. Baylor will get in. You're hoping, keeping your fingers crossed for Jim Schlossnagel's TCU team, which was eliminated earlier today in extra innings by Oklahoma State. Maybe in Oklahoma. McCusker is 6'7", but he can't reach that one in left. Off his glove, Brophy into second base.
That's just poor play. I understand the ball's going to be sliding away from you a little bit, but at 6'7", it's just a whiff of the baseball in the outfield. And Brett Stanley thinks he's got an out right here. You see it right here at 6'7". It kind of ran and the ball got behind. Watch where the ball is on the flight of this baseball. And that angles have been a problem here all week long of reading the ball off the bat.
Is there something about the ballpark here? Just a different look? We have seen a lot of outfield play that has been a struggle. Max Hewitt now playing second base. Houston Morrill. Remember, he got hit by a pitch. Morrill did. So Hewitt. And this is not a switch that's completely out of the ordinary for Josh Holliday and the Cowboys anyway. TJ Lake had a base hit and scored West Virginia's run back in the 3rd. He's also flied to right field. Stanley's last 2 starts prior to this, he'd gone only 3 1/3 innings and 2 innings. He's pitching here into the 7th.
Constantly worked ahead of hitters the entire day. Been able to take that outside corner.
Brophy's fly ball to left has been scored a double with 1 away. 6th double of the year for Brophy.
This outside corner fastball get called a strike to even the count 2-2.
Lake has the power to tie this game. He has hit West Virginia's only home run here in the Big 12 championship. Shortstop Navigado ranges to it, throws it low, and Garcia saves another error at first base.
Couple of those in this ball game. You get a hold of the baseball, aim for the chest and let the flight happen. But Garcia been pretty good at what he's done over at first base today. And inside, watch. Of course, you get a lot of good true hops. And one thing they do here is manicure this dirt infield every 2 innings, so you get all the spike marks and the things that could create a bad hop out of the way.
It's a brand new surface this year here at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark, replacing the original surface. Red dirt here in Oklahoma underneath. Monty McCoy and his grounds crew have done a great job. Torrential rains in the Oklahoma City area overnight, but you wouldn't know it today. We've got a new track, warning track all around the playing field. Brophy is at third with 2 gone for Tucker, who's 2 for 2. Had a bunt hit in the 3rd and a base hit in the 5th. In the hole at short, he runs well. This throw again dug out by Garcia. Alex Garcia picking him out and grinning. Andrew Navigado retiring the speedy Tevin Tucker, George.
Shortstops typically big range and a big arm, but you got to have help on the other end. It's still 3-1 Cowboys.
Man, I hope there's not a height limit on that slide, because that's where George and I are headed right after the game. 7th inning stretch, and the kids having the best time of all as we welcome you back to the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. 3-1 lead for Oklahoma State, and they try to add to that here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
They'll do it against Kessler, the closer, who last inning ran into a little bit of trouble, came in and worked out of everything, got Oklahoma State back out on the field. But it's Brett Stanley's story right now. A lot of talk about Snyder at the beginning of the ball game. 7 strikeouts after 4+ was taken out of the game. Here's a hard ground ball hit, and it'll be handled by the second baseman. Cabinets is ground out 4-3. But you look at what Brett Stanley's done. I mean, his total dominance of a pretty good lineup over here. 80+ pitches, 86 now in the contest through 7. That's outstanding.
You wouldn't say that Stanley doesn't have that in him. It's just that he pitched 7 innings against Missouri State this year, gave 6 hits and no runs in a start. Then he's had 3 other starts of 6 innings plus in conference play. 6 innings against West Virginia, in fact. And he gave just 4 hits in that one. So Stanley now, he's had short innings. 6 pitches in the 6th, 8 pitches in the 7th. And that's going to extend potentially his time out there. First at bat for Max Hewitt. Remember, Houston Morrill got hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 5th. And Hewitt replaced him out in the field in the top half of this 7th inning. Max Hewitt is from Midhurst, Ontario, Canada. Transfer from Connors State College. He was the starting shortstop early in the year for this team.
Well, pretty good slider and laid off of that. He takes a kind of eye, read the rotation on the baseball, identified it started out low, going to stay low, and take it for a ball.
Payoff pitch to Hewitt. Got him swinging. 2 down.
Now batting, the third baseman, Christian Funk.
Now breaking ball again, and this one was flat. It stayed up. Hewitt couldn't resist and able to not make solid contact and swing right through the baseball for a strikeout.
That is 11 strikeouts for West Virginia pitchers. Nick Snyder had 7 as the starter. Christian Funk, the batter. Funk walked and scored in the 5th inning. George, you began this tournament talking a lot about you can't defend walks and hit batsmen.
That's the toughest thing, and that's what created the mess for West Virginia.
2 of the runs scored on walks and 1 on a hit batsman. Of course, Navigado had to hit the double, but you had a bases loaded walk to score the first run.
Navigado just about planted it completely out of the yard to make it a 4-1 ball game. That ball hit the top of the wall.
You know, I think this is the first day with the win that ball wouldn't get out.
Yeah, it's kind of a normal day in Oklahoma. You know, nice 10 to 12, 15-mile-an-hour breeze out of the south. It's been gusting up to 25 in recent days during the tournament.
2-2 to Christian Funk.
You know, you asked me, and I looked out the other night. He said, "You think they still keep score at home?" And there's we'll find her here in between. But there's a lady over here to the left. I've been watching her the entire tournament. She keeps everything. She got like 5 different books working over there. Wonder if she's writing a book.
Might be. This one is lifted into right center field. Hill and White both there. And it will be the center fielder, Brandon White. 1-2-3 inning for Sam Kessler and the Mountaineers. Through 7, it's the Cowboys 3 and the Mountaineers 1. Cowboys lead the Mountaineers 3-1. 8th inning coming your way. Randy Mazey's team has had an affinity for coming to play in Oklahoma City. And it goes back to 2013. Jessica has more.
Thank you. Yeah, back in 2013 when West Virginia had played Oklahoma State, they just came right over from Stillwater, didn't travel back to West Virginia, and it happened to be the Monday that the deadly tornadoes hit back in 2013, and immediately Randy Mazey wanted to find a way to help, so they tried to go to the scene, but of course couldn't get in because of the first responders doing the great work that they did during that time. But so they went to Walmart, and he told his team, hey, just go get whatever you think you might need and if you lost everything. So 35 buggies full of anything and everything you can imagine this team had filled up. So fast forward, they played their time through the tournament. They got eliminated. They had an extra day here. And Coach Mazey told his team, hey, I know it's been a long season. I know you're tired. And if you want to rest and sleep in and take it easy today, I completely understand. But at 4 o'clock, I'm going to go help, and you're welcome to come if you want. He said when he got on the bus was entirely full with the entire team ready to go help in any way they can. And he said, you know, as you look back now, those are the memories that you remember. You don't remember the scores of any game. You remember how you came and you made an impact and you helped this community. He said, so I showed the team that video going into this week just so they could have a reminder of just what this place means to us and how special it is to come to OKC. And guys, he went on and on just about how much Oklahoma City means to this Mountaineer baseball team.
And it's been special on the other end. We want to send all of our condolences to those impacted by deadly tornadoes in the area last night, in particular out in El Reno. Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
And last night also in the Tulsa metropolitan area, a couple of tornadoes hit there and then headed more east beyond. And There's some towns that were hit pretty hard in that area. And of course, there's nothing to defend on one of those. Just go find a safe place and get in it.
Tyler Dones with the leadoff single. The Mountaineers have the tying run at the plate. Brandon White hit into a double play in the third inning, but on that double play, the Mountaineers scored their only run. It's bunted foul, and it's 1-2. Seven hits for West Virginia as Dones goes back to first. Dones has 2 of them. He's been on base 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. (18 of 24 in the stolen base department is Tyler Dones. Brett Stanley so far, 7 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, and a walk. He's only given 1 extra base hit. It was that fly ball that McCusker couldn't come up with in left. Two and 2 on Brandon White.
Tried to get him to chase the breaking ball out of the zone, and what White has done a good job of in this tournament is push the ball through the right side of the infield on that soft slider or breaking ball away.
Ball 3 is low. Oklahoma State's bullpen is active, as you might imagine. Stanley has pitched great. West Virginia has been into its bullpen for 3 different arms today. Right now, the Cowboys have Peyton Battenfield getting loose in their pen. Payoff pitch is fouled off.
That's the one he'll take to right field on you.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Stanley threw only 8 total pitches in the 7th. There goes the runner. 3-2 pitch. Line foul. Into the seats. We'll do it all over again.
Randy Mazie, even if it's a 3-2 count, you send the runner. Sometimes you don't send the runner because you want to stay out of it. But with so much speed, they get a ball to the right side. It could be first and third. It could even be second and third or a run in if it happens to get in the gap with the amount of speed they have on this team and on the bases right now.
Mazie walks out. Wants to visit here with Brandon White. I'm making sure everybody is on the same page. Do you think the hit and run was not on and a sign got miscommunicated, George?
Must be. Called in his third base coach to come along with him.
Say, hey, what's going on? What are we doing here?
One thing in college, did you see a manager in the big leagues play first base coach? Come here, man.
Another payoff pitch coming to Brandon White. Stanley, 97 pitches. And it's ball 4. So now the tying run is on base with nobody out. And the heart of the West Virginia order ready to come and hit against Stanley.
Yeah, the hard thing right now, Brett Stanley had breezed through this game for 7 innings. And it's kind of that old thought process. If a couple of guys get on, I'm going to come get you. You know, if that's the thought process in the mind, then go to a fresh arm down in the bullpen immediately, start the inning, and Rob Walton will go to his bullpen. And Brett Stanley, you deserve a standing ovation in this ballpark today. You have pitched very, very, very well.
So Oklahoma State going to its bullpen, and Brett Stanley receiving a standing ovation. The freshman right-hander pitching Oklahoma State to a 3-1 lead. They'll try to slam the door on the Mountaineers here. A standing ovation and well-deserved for Brett Stanley, the Oklahoma State redshirt freshman right-hander. 7+ innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run to this point, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts.
Well, I go to the left-hander after this brilliant performance by Stanley in this ball game, the championship ball game. A lot of ground ball outs. As a matter of fact, 6 of the first 12, 50% were on the ground, and some soft fly balls. And took care of business on his own end a few innings.
7 innings ties his deepest run in a ball game. He equals what he did against Missouri State back on March the 12th. Brett Stanley in position to pick up a win in this Big 12 championship game. So now Brady Basso takes over. He is a lefty, junior out of Pearland, Texas.
15 strikeouts in 9 2/3 innings. He has walked 8 over that span. He has given up only 5 hits, though. You hope defensively you kind of have an idea what they're going to do here.
Tying run is aboard for the Mountaineers. Cowboys lead it 3-1. Darius Hill, the batter. Basso, a strike. Darius Hill singled in the first. His lone hit of the day. Oh, 0-2. Basso's second appearance in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, hoping to get him to chase a high fastball at 92. He passed. Basso very, very good on. And has had good results for the majority of his career at Oklahoma State. I'm trying to get another one here.
Basso's been a starter and a reliever as a Cowboy. Pulled to the second baseman, Hewitt to Navigado for 1, and the relay is in time. A 4-6-3 double play.
With that kind of speed, not an easy thing to pull off with White at first base, but the ball was hit extremely hard, and they were able to flip it pretty easily. Swung with the long swing, perfect feed by Hewitt, and then on to first base for the double play.
Dones goes to third on the double play, and Marcus Inman is the batter with 2 down.
Yeah, Rob Walton wanting to know that the right-hander was ready to go in the bullpen. He is. The lefty came in and did his job.
And then some. He didn't just get 1, he got 2, did Brady Basso. And Rob Walton, the Oklahoma State pitching coach, back to the bullpen. Tying run is at the plate for the Mountaineers still, but 2 down. And Peyton Battenfield, who was the winning pitcher for Oklahoma State earlier today against TCU, trots in. West Virginia took the lead in this game early on as White hit into a double play, but a run did score. It was 1-0 in the top of the third, and Oklahoma State did all of its damage in the fifth. That's a bases-loaded walk to Colin Simpson to tie the game, and then Andrew Navigato, with the bases still loaded, hit this one off the top of the wall. And George, we had a disputed play at the plate.
We did have a disputed plate. It was one where Colin Simpson tried to score. White picked the ball up, threw a perfect strike into Gonzalez. He applied the tag to Colin Simpson. They pushed the envelope, and the replay showed that he was out. But the left-hander Basso able to come in and turn this double play. They shorten this inning up. Now they'll give it to Battenfield, Peyton Battenfield. .310 earned run average. He has 2 saves on the year, averaged more than 2 innings per outing. 52 2/3, 61 strikeouts on the season. And he'll be asked to close this inning down against West Virginia and get the Cowboys back in the dugout.
Battenfield pitched 2 innings and was the winning pitcher against TCU in the semifinal game that was played earlier today. This is his 3rd appearance in the Big 12 championship. He faces Marcus Inman. Tyler Doan's at 3rd and 2 down in the West Virginia 8th inning. Peyton Battenfield's older brother, Blake, a former Oklahoma State pitcher. He was honorable mention All Big 12 this year. Inman, pretty well struck to right field. Cabanis reaches up, races to the warning track, and reels it in to save a run. Cade Cabanis flying onto the warning track. Heartbreak for the Mountaineers.
Boy, you just take off, hope you get to the spot and realize that run at third's going to score. But if I can get here, I can make the play. And Cabanis says, hey, Mr. White, I can do things you can do.
Oklahoma State with a runner at 3rd and 2 down. Cade Cabanis saving at least 1 run for the Cowboys with a running catch on the warning track in right field to end the top of the 8th inning and spoil a Mountaineers threat. Cabanis has been a hitting star in this championship. He's hit 2 home runs, and he shows off his defensive prowess. Simpson, Navigato, and Trevor Boone to face Sam Kessler, who's back out for his 3rd inning of scoreless work. Kessler has given just 1 hit. He has struck out 2. The Mountaineers have allowed only 3 hits. Colin Simpson has 1 of them. That was in the 4th. He drew a bases-loaded walk that tied the game in the 5th inning. Three home runs in 5 games in this championship for Simpson. The most home runs hit in a Big 12 championship, 5 by Dan Johnson of Nebraska back in 2001. Simpson nearly screwed himself into the ground on that swing. The types of hacks that he will take. Flicks another one foul out of play. Down and in. Colin Simpson is from just up the road, Edmond Memorial High School. Had a good, really 3+ years as a Cowboy. Broke a hamate bone as a freshman after just 15 games. And he's out on strikes here. Kessler got him. Second time Simpson has struck out today. That's 12 strikeouts for West Virginia pitching. The hero of the moment coming to the plate for the Cowboys, Andrew Navigado. His 2-run double off the top of the left field wall has given them this lead. His heroism started earlier today, though, as we look back on what Navigado did with the bases full in the 5th. Just missed getting out over the glove of TJ Lake. Brandon White came in, made a great play to throw out Colin Simpson at the plate after 2 runs had scored. But Navigado, in the earlier game, tied it in the bottom of the 10th inning, 6-6 with TCU. And then he scored the game-winning run on Alex Garcia's base hit. A 14-game hitting streak for Navigado. 2-1 the count. Pulled in the hole at short. Tucker Fields won't be able to make the play at first. Navigado with his second hit.
Yeah, it's a tough play all the way over into the hole for the shortstop Tucker as he gets to the baseball. Does everything fundamentally sound, but when he came up, he just hooked it. And he threw the ball left side. No chance at all for him to be able to make a play on it.
Randy Mazey is back out. Sam Kessler has pitched very well. 2 1/3 relief innings. Mountaineers giving up just 4 hits in this game. You see the 2 right-handers loosening out in the pen. Tristan Hudson. Brock Helverson. It looks like Mazey just a pat on the shoulder of Kessler. He will leave him in to face Trevor Boone.
That just makes sure everything's all right here. And I mean, you realize this 2-run ball game. It's kind of a fine line. You know you're going to a regional Thursday. You don't know where that regional is going to be. Hopefully you're going to get to host one. That place will be rocking in Morgantown. But again, you don't know what it's going to transpire, how it's going to transpire. And the number one protection of your ball club. You want to win the tournament, don't get me wrong. You want to be in the hosting the one hoisting up the trophy at the end of this day. But you got to be fairly smart about it, too.
Here's Trevor Boone, 0 for 3 today. Leads the Big 12, though, with 19 home runs. He was trying to hit one there. I'm not sure he's not trying to hit one on every swing.
Kind of looks that way now, doesn't it? And why not? He's got 19 of them.
Big, powerful right-hand batting center fielder, 6'2", 210 pounds. Has 1 home run here in the Big 12 championship. And it's 0-2. Navigado has stolen 5 bases. Snap throw by Gonzalez. Inman's swipe tag just a touch late on Navigado.
And look back up at Doug Williams like, think that pretty close, wasn't it? The answer is no. He's safe. That's what it is. Hand did just get under there. There's some good catchers in this whole tournament that has gone on, and Gonzalez has done well. Well, he has been here receiving the baseball.
Boone has flied out to center field twice and struck out today. There goes Navigado. Kessler will throw out Boone, and with 2 down, Navigado's in scoring position for McCusker.
Now batting, the left fielder, Carson McCusker.
Well, you know, Oklahoma State would love to have an insurance run to take back out in the 9th. West Virginia can put up runs in a hurry. Carson McCusker has an RBI chance here. 1 for 3. Got a base hit that landed out in shallow left center field. It bounced off of Brandon White for an error.
Some of the big thunder will be coming up for West Virginia. McIntosh, Gonzalez, and Brophy.
McCusker into center field. Here comes White. It's a base hit. Around third, Navigado. White's throw is a one-hopper. It's right on the money, but it's dropped by Gonzalez. Navigado safe. McCusker goes to second. 4-1 Cowboys.
Tell you what, he had it completely blocked, and the ball just popped out of there. He talked about the insurance run, and McCusker comes up with just that. An insurance run on a slider away. The big long swing of McCusker catches off the end of the bat. White comes up firing. Second strike he's thrown to the plate today, and it is well blocked by Gonzalez out in front of the plate for legally, but you can see the ball pop out in front of the plate. The throw beating there if Gonzalez able to hang on to it.
Well, that will do it for Sam Kessler. And what a play by Brandon White in center field, George.
Again.
So Kessler's day will be done. Cusker gets the RBI, and Navigado is having himself a day. Scored the game-winning run in the first game. He's driven in 2 runs and now has scored a 3rd run for the Cowboys, who lead it 4-1. So West Virginia's got to get it shut down here. They have 3 outs to go in the 9th, but they've got to get the Cowboys out first. Oklahoma State on top 4-1. Fifth West Virginia pitcher of the day is right-hander Brock Helverson. Snyder, Jeffries, Reed, Kessler, and now this right-hander trying to hold it where it is. 4-1 Oklahoma State with 2 outs in the 8th.
15 2/3 on the year. Hasn't had as much success as other pitchers at West Virginia. A lot of that due to the walk. 11 15 2/3. 15 hits given up, a high earned run average. Yeah, they just try to get a shutout to finish this thing out with Alex Garcia, the defensive standout for Oklahoma State today with all those picks at first base.
Garcia had the game-winning hit against TCU earlier today as Rob Walton and Josh Holliday talk things over for Oklahoma State. Looks like there's a pinch hitter on deck for the Cowboys. Oh, beg your pardon. Cavanis is over there. This is Garcia, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
Pretty good arm to have those kind of results and numbers at 94 first pitch.
Andrew Zeitel is now playing shortstop for the Mountaineers. Replacing Tucker. Base hit to left field by Garcia. McCusker churns for the plate. Lake's throw is not in time. 5-1 Cowboys. Alex Garcia drives in a run. Oklahoma State, 2 more runs for insurance in the 8th.
22nd RBI of the year for Garcia. This ball up the first base line. No play on McCusker.
Two out insurance runs for Oklahoma State here. Coming off the bats of McCusker and Garcia. Jake Taylor bats, and he drills a base hit into right field.
That's what this offense can do. You just let the window open a little bit, and all of a sudden they can put up some points in a hurry on the board, and they've done just that in this inning with 2 to add and make it a 5-1 ball game.
They had 3 hits total coming into this inning, but they have 4 in the 8th. Although I think they ruled the play on which Navigado was safe earlier an error on the shortstop. Tevin Tucker.
Tough error.
Brophy is out there. Yes, it is. Here's Cavanis. Cade Cavanis hit by a pitch in the 3rd. He has struck out and grounded out since. Helverson deals, and a strike to Cavanis makes it 1-1. Cavanis right to Zeitel, the new shortstop, and the inning is over. Cavanis scalded that ball. Insurance runs for Oklahoma State, 2 of them on 3 hits and an error. It's all smiles for Oklahoma State. The Cowboys will try to close out their 2nd Big 12 championship in the last 3 years when we come back. (5-1) Oklahoma State. 2 insurance runs coming in the bottom of the 8th inning on RBI singles by Navigado and McCusker. And Peyton Battenfield back out to try to close it out. But this West Virginia team won't go down without a fight. They'll have some thunder come into the plate. McIntosh, Gonzalez, and Brophy. Paul McIntosh is 0 for 3. There's a shot into left center field. Trevor Boone won't reach this one. Around first, McIntosh. Throw to second base is not in time. A leadoff double. And the Mountaineers are fighting back.
Well, you know they're probably not going to go quietly back to the mountains. They're going to come out swinging the bat, and McIntosh gets it started here in the 9th with a leadoff double in the left center field. I'm really impressed with Boone, who got to this baseball rather quickly. His angle was outstanding. Cut this ball off some 415 feet from the plate, and then made the snap throw into second base.
Tenth double for Paul McIntosh. Here's Gonzalez. First pitch swinging. Ground ball to Navigado. 1 gone. To third goes McIntosh.
I thought it was a smart play. Sometimes that runner gets in front of you. You think about getting the lead runner, but you got a 4-run lead, get an out. get this sure out instead of taking a chance on a flip over.
Kevin Brophy 1 for 3 with a double. Battenfield rears back and fires a strike. Four wins and 2 saves for Peyton Battenfield this year. He's out in front on Brophy. 0-2. Brophy doubled in the 7th inning. Avogado again. A run will score, but there's 2 outs.
Don't care. Let the run score, get the outs.
McIntosh scores. Brophy gets an RBI, but the Oklahoma State Cowboys are an out away from securing their 2nd Big 12 championship in the last 3 years. They've had to do it the hard way, winning in 10 innings over TCU earlier.
Well, it's difficult. I mean, you know, last night was a late night also for West Virginia. Down at 11, come up, get up about 9, come over. But for Oklahoma State, getting out of bed at 6:45 this morning, grab a hold of some breakfast, power bar, and head to the ballpark, play 10 innings of baseball, and then come right back around again. A lot of character shown by Oklahoma State to win this game.
0-2 on TJ Lake.
Good changeup, 83 miles an hour off the fastball of 90.
A win of this championship, if Oklahoma State gets it, the #2 RPI league in the country, should secure them as a national seed.
I would think so.
Swing and a miss. And for the 2nd time in 3 seasons and the 3rd time in program history, the Oklahoma State Cowboys win the Big 12 championship as they celebrate out in front of home plate. Championships here in the Big 12 tournament for the Cowboys, but 2 in the last 3 years.